Yo, it's your boy Ryan, Northwest Sports Fanatics, back at you with a new video. Today is Thursday, December 12th, 2024, with your boy Ryan and the Northwest Sports Fanatics. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. Smash that like button either now or on your way out. Donate to your boy if you can. Cash App $ ORION NWSF or the YouTube Super Chat right here. We got some NFL action this Thursday night. The Los Angeles Rams versus the San Francisco 49ers. Kickoff is going to be here in roughly 10 minutes. So let's cue up the music, take a look at the thumb, and let's get settled in for some Rams and Niners tonight. Let's get it. And on the thumb on the left, the OG Cooper Kupp. And on the right, Deebo Samuel with a nice landscape of the Golden Gate Bridge there in San Francisco in the background. Let's go, baby. I am ready. What's good? We're going to be shooting for obviously 20 likes within the first, hour and a half, 30 to 50 overall if we get the volume, and we'll always be shooting for 100 in the donos on every single stream. Hope everyone has been having a good week. Obviously not a whole lot to do within the last couple days. Tomorrow, it doesn't really seem like there's a whole lot. And then on Saturday, normally we end up doing college football on Friday and Saturday, but since the college football playoff starts next week, really the only option that we have for Saturday will be Army versus Navy at noon. More than likely, I'm going to end up doing that. We'll probably take tomorrow off. I don't really like taking 2 or 3 days off during the week, but again, if there's not really anything worth streaming, then, I'll take time with Paisley. So I'm thinking we'll take tomorrow off. We'll do Army Navy at noon on Saturday, and then obviously we'll get into the Sunday matchups, obviously in the NFL, and we will end up more than likely we're going to end up doing the Packers and the Seahawks, and then obviously we have a dual Monday night matchup with the Bears and the Vikings and the Falcons and the Raiders. Probably end up doing Bears and Vikings on Monday night, Packers and Seahawks on Sunday night. And if I was going to do a stream earlier in the day, it wouldn't be the Bucks Chargers. It would be the Bills and the Lions on at 125. And obviously in that matchup, that could be a future Super Bowl preview. I haven't really decided yet if I'm going to double dip and do Bills, Lions, and Packers, Seahawks. But if I was going to do another matchup, it definitely would be that one. 10-3 Bills, 12-1 Lions. It could go either way. Definitely a must-see matchup for this weekend. And then I wish there was more college football for us to do. But since the regular season is kind of wrapped up, this is what we're looking at moving forward. So, Cole in the building. What's good? Yeah, Belichick, I'm not really sure how that's going to work. He's more of a disciplined guy that will, coach grown men, and they have to take his type of coaching scheme and to give it to, young men trying to turn, into an adult. And for him to be able to coach those young minds, I don't know if he'll be able to do it. I mean, I know one thing is for sure, he'll be able to recruit. And there are going to be people that are going to want to go to North Carolina just because he's there, and they'll have a better chance of making the NFL. But, as far as turning North Carolina into a powerhouse, I doubt it. I wish him the best of luck, but definitely, he seems like more of an NFL kind of coach. But if NFL teams don't want him anymore and he still wants to coach, then you're pretty much left with college. That's really the only option that you have. And North Carolina was interested, and we'll see. If anything else, it'll put North Carolina on the map, and then we'll be able to see, if he can actually take that team, from being, mediocre to average to above average, and maybe one day we'll have a 9 or 10 win North Carolina team. But I wouldn't be expecting a whole lot right out of the gates. So, a little interesting to see him sign with North Carolina. I think a lot of us were pretty surprised. So. Yeah, and I've been catching up, on AEW and WWE and trying to watch a little bit more on, Monday Night Raw and on SmackDown, as well as last night, they had this special with AEW Dynamite. So, I figured, let's tune in. Let me see if it's actually worth watching. And I can say, each program I felt, kind of delivered the goods. There's going to be bigger names, obviously, on the WWE side. But, I feel like the AEW side, it lacks a little top-tier talent. But even with that being said, they still put on a pretty good show. It's just a matter of, can you get those fans to come back, that the ones that were watching both and shifted towards WWE. But tonight we got the Rams 7-6, 3-3 on the road versus the 6-7 Niners 4-3 at home. It feels kind of like it's going to be the Hawks, or the Rams or both that might be able to get hot, and we'll see where the records, are at the end of December. But you're more than likely only going to get one team out of the NFC West, Hawks or Rams, for one side, and then probably the Falcons or the Bucks in the NFC South. Since we feel that, the North will probably provide three teams, and then the East, you got the Eagles, and then you got the Commandos. So probably only going to be room for either Rams or Hawks, or Falcons or Bucks. If it was my choice, I would go Hawks and Bucks this year, but you never know. And the Rams know this is a must-win game. That way they can catch up and keep up with the pace with the Seattle Seahawks. Let's go, baby. I'm gonna take a quick peek. Yeah, I don't really, and like I said, they didn't have a whole lot. This NBA tourney that they have, during the regular season is really stupid. It's like they're always looking for these gimmicks, and people aren't going to go out of their way to watch just because there's a tourney during the regular season of the NBA. The product is already terrible. That's not going to bring fans back, but I guess they think it will. But the Blazers will play Wembanyama tomorrow at 7. So I guess if we end up doing a stream, I might end up doing that. Spurs and Blazers, possibly. But also it really depends if Klingon is going to be back as well. And it sounds like he has a chance to play tomorrow. So if Klingon plays tomorrow and comes back from the injury, maybe we do Spurs Blazers so I can see Klingon and Wembanyama. If not, then we'll probably just do Army Navy at noon on Saturday. But we've already taken 2 days off just because there really wasn't a whole lot to stream on Tuesday or Wednesday. And I would like to be able to grind it out. This is obviously December, and bills are obviously coming in, so I got to make sure I'm keeping up the pace with all of that, and also making sure that we're wasting no time whatsoever, and we're making sure that we're getting the job done. Let's get it, baby. Yeah, well, I think with Mercedes Moné, there's just not really a whole lot of competition over there. It's like they really only had Dr. Britt Baker over there, and now there's a few other females that are kind of getting the spotlight on the AEW side. But until you end up getting some bigger names to challenge her, on that side, and they can start having a decent rivalry with WWE as far as the females, that division is going to be boring, because there's not really anything that's believable, match-wise that would really want you to go out of your way to watch. It's really the men only on the AEW side, whether it's Ospreay, hopefully we'll get Kenny Omega back at some point or another, but if you don't have Omega, you don't have the Young Bucks, and you don't have, certain individuals, at least they have Ospreay wrestling pretty much every week. But when you don't have the top dogs, kind of hard to keep up with WWE. But from what I've, tried to peep with these last couple of weeks of watching a little bit more WWE and AEW, I feel like the shows are still pretty good, but again, top tier talent and lacking that on the AEW side is, making it hard for them to be able to keep up with WWE and what they've been able to build with Triple H and then this new regime. So STL in the building, what's good? Captain in the building, what's good? Let's go, baby. This should be a good matchup, and I know on paper, if you're an NFC fan, you're interested. If you're in the NFC West, you're really interested, regardless if you're a Cardinal fan, a Hawk fan, a Ram fan, or a Niner fan. This will have some implications, based off the division itself. I mean, if you're a Seahawk fan, this will be the first time in your life, a very rare moment where you're actually rooting for your hated rival, the Niners, to win here tonight. And obviously with the Rams, we know that they can go on runs. They did last year, winning 7 out of the last 8, going from November to December, making the playoffs. And again, after they ended up getting back Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua, this team can play with anybody. It's just a matter of, can the defense show up enough to be able to minimize the damage on the other side. But offensively, Stafford can still ball. Kyren Williams is a top 5 running back. Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua are top 10 receivers. So, they have, opportunities, and we'll have to find out what we end up getting here. But again, if you want to be able to go to the playoffs, this is a must-win game for the Rams. And obviously, if you're planning to play spoiler, it's not like the Niners are going to win this for the Hawk fans. But the Niners, obviously, if you want to play spoiler and also keep close on, that very small chance that you actually come back and win the division, even with all these injuries, even though it doesn't look possible, they win the game. They go to 7-7. The Rams drop to 7-7. And then you have kind of 3 teams battling it out to try to be able to make it. So, again, Hawk fans are definitely going to be rooting for the Niners heavy first time for everything. But again, if you want to be able to come out on top, you got to have the other teams in the division clip each other. So we'll see what ends up happening here today. Drake Greenlaw is back. Not sure if that's going to make a huge difference for the Niners, but hopefully it ends up being a competitive matchup. Like, sub, donate, comment, share. If you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. Let's try to get 20 within the first hour, 30 to 50 overall, and obviously 100 in the donos on every single stream. Help your boy out. And again, I decided for the thumb to be able to mix in a little bit of the views of the city. So no matter where the games are being played, if I feel like a stadium background is kind of already played out, and I've done that many, many times, I might as well try to find a nice San Francisco scenery background at night, Golden Gate Bridge. And I figured, we've had some success with some of the thumbs. It's very eye-popping and eye-catching with the sunset there. This one turned out great with Cooper Kupp and Deebo Samuel. Let's go, baby. And the Niners are going to get the ball first here. Get that money, baby. Go Ducks. Okay, Megan, get that haircut. Now, this would be the one instance that you would want the Niners to win if you don't want the Rams to take the spot, because there's only going to be one spot available in the West and in the South. So it's either the Falcons or Bucks, or it could, if the Niners win today, then it could be Niners, Rams, Hawks, even though the Hawks, kind of had that pole position for now. But, an injury here, an injury there, things could change. And again, it's anybody's to take, but it kind of feels like it's going to be Hawks or Rams this year. And I'm hoping that it'll be the Hawks in the West and then the Bucks in the South. 2nd down and 10. Pass incomplete there on that first pass by Brock Purdy. He's going to have to be efficient here today. Yeah, tie won't help. You got to have the Niners win if you're, a Hawk fan. Again, unless you feel that, that you're going to be able to find any way, whatsoever to be able to make the playoffs. But again, it also will come down to the matchups in the regular season, with the Rams. If you guys have the same record, to go through like tiebreakers at the end. But again, winning the division outright would be great. But if it ends up being, a tie in the record, then they're going to have to go through all those tiebreaker situations. And the last thing that you want is for the Rams to, take the spot. So if you're a Hawk fan. But again, the Niners aren't that far behind, again, one game behind the Rams, 6-7, 7-6. So shotgun set for Purdy on 3rd down and 9. Good pressure by the Rams. Purdy going deep and complete. George Kittle, the intended tight end. Flag on the play. Fourth down. Penalty there on the Niners. Great start here for the Rams. But the Niners are pretty much just trying to play spoiler. They already know that they've already won the division so many times. The window is closing for them. It's like they still have some players to be elite, but it feels like, now the Lions and the Eagles, they're kind of the top dogs now. And we know if the Niners come back healthy next year, they could be a 10, 11, 12 win team, but it kind of feels like their window is starting to close if it hasn't closed already this year. So, again, if you want to be able to take advantage of that, the Rams have to have good production out of Stafford, Cooper Kupp, Puka Nacua, and Kyren Williams. First down and 10 for the Rams. Man in motion, Stafford, hands off. There's Kyren Williams. Third in rushing in the NFL. He's a little undersized, but don't let that size fool you. He's got great speed, great agility. And again, he's one of those guys that can get 100 yards almost on every game, and he can get in the end zone once, twice, or 3 times. Make sure you're watching for Kyren Williams because, again, this guy is a touchdown machine. Stafford, handoff. Good defense there by the Niners. Flag on the play. Offensive holding. But Sean McVay and Kyle Shanahan, these are two of the brightest minds, as far as calling plays. You don't get too many people that, are going to be under 50, that have this type of knowledge, as of someone that has been doing it for 20, 30, 40 years. And again, defensively, there's definitely weaknesses on both sides, but offensively, they should be able to put up some points here tonight. Man in motion, second down and 14, Cooper Kupp. In motion, Stafford. Pass tipped to Cooper Kupp, incomplete, almost intercepted by Fred Warner. Third down and long, third down and 14 on the Rams 25. Three more likes to be able to get to 10. If you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. And hopefully we'll get a few more people in the room at some point or another within the broadcast. Shotgun set on third down and long. Good protection up front. Pressure on the edge. Almost intercepted. 4 Niners, 1 Cooper Kupp, and that's not good enough. Good defense by the Rams on their first drive. Good defense on the Niners on their first drive. And again, for a game that we thought that might be able to, get some points on the board, seems like the defense has decided to come to play here in California today. Rams with the punt. Short gain there by the Niners. Yeah, but, realistically, Dennis Allen was a coordinator, so that was a dumb move to begin with. And for the individual that you have now, just as an interim, at least they're playing hard for him, and you guys are winning games, even though you guys are winning ugly. Beating the Giants by a couple points isn't ideal, but a win is a win. And now, the Saints are playing better football. The Panthers are playing some really good football, after Bryce got benched and now he got a chance to get out there. They're flowing with Adam Thielen. So I like what I'm seeing there. And obviously the two best teams are the Falcons and Bucks, except the Bucks are kind of flowing in the positive direction. And then with the Falcons, they're kind of hitting the wall with Kirk Cousins, and we're taking advantage. So, it is what it is, but I don't think Sean Payton, I think this statement right here is false. I don't think lost his touch. I think that's incorrect, because if he decided to come back to the Saints, you think the Saints fans would say no? He just didn't want to coach your guys' team anymore. and he's doing a pretty good job with the Broncos and Bo Nix. So for you to say that he lost his touch, that just kind of means that you're a little sour that he's no longer coaching the Saints, because obviously he can still coach. And if he was with the Saints, you guys would have a better chance of winning the division than what you have right now. So I don't think Sean Payton has lost his touch at all. You just got to be able to find the right quarterback. Russell Wilson wasn't the right quarterback from him. Bo Nix is, and the Broncos might make the playoffs. So if Sean Payton lost his touch, then I guess that means that the Broncos should not make the playoffs, but they're in position to make the playoffs. So again, false statement there. Sean Payton still got it. And again, he might not be the same type of coach with the same type of scheme in the early part of his career. But again, if he couldn't coach, he wouldn't have this Bronco team in prime position to make a wild card year number 1. So think about that. Like, sub, donate, comment, share. If you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. Let's try to be able to get to a good number here tonight. 0-0. Let's see what's up here next for the Niners. All right, baby, let's go. It's been really wet here in the Pacific Northwest, but me and Paisley have gotten through it, and we'll hopefully try to go on a long, long walk here tonight and not get rained on. Hopefully it'll just be cloudy here tonight. All right, Niners, second drive here on Thursday Night Football. Shotgun set, Brock Purdy. Floater over the middle, George Kittle. Oh my, rumbling and a bumbling. First down, Niners, bang, bang. Niner gang, I see you. Move the chains. Nice catch there by George Kittle. And then good luck to everyone in our fantasy playoffs. And we'll see what happens, with Reflect and Double E, as well as Zini and Shep. It could go down to the wire, and I'm very interested to see how it all plays out. Handoff up the middle. Runs into his own guy. Correndo, he's down. Gain of a yard. And he's a little bit injured too, so he's not 100%. And we'll see how long that he stays out there. Captain with a $5. Thank you so much for getting us started early, my guy, and that'll lead to more. Stacks on stacks, racks on racks, little Cactus Jack, bang, bang. Let me know what you want to see photo-wise. And I'm definitely excited for this weekend to do the Hawks on prime time against the Packers. Go Seattle. And again, the Bills and the Lions on earlier, that day. Too bad they couldn't flex that matchup to Monday Night Football instead of having those, two average matchups on Monday night and swapping it out for a primetime potential Super Bowl preview in the Bills and the Lions. So that could be one of the options. Obviously, to me, there's still only 5 teams that I could say that are Super Bowl contenders, right? You got obviously the Chiefs, the Bills, the Steelers, and that's it for the AFC. And then on the NFC side, I got Lions and Eagles, and that's it. Not saying that, one of the underdog teams could go a little bit further. It is possible that you could end up making the AFC or NFC championship game as one of the playoff teams, like a Seattle or a Tampa Bay or the Washington Commandos or the Vikings, which would probably be realistic, or the Packers. As well as looking at other teams like the Broncos or the Chargers or the Ravens. There's other teams out there, but there's a pretty big gap, I feel, with the top tier, the top 5, and everyone else. So, yeah, but making a statement that he can't do it means that you haven't been following football. You've been working too much. And again, for a lot of us here, we know the records, we watch the games. And again, if you're only watching Saints football, then you're only going to know Nolans Saints, and that's all you're going to know. But for a lot of us in this room, we watch everybody. Kick is up and good. But Sean Payton has done a fantastic job in Denver. Again, I don't know how many people thought that they would be in playoff contention year number 1 with Bo Nix. Same thing with Harbaugh, year number 1 there with Justin Herbert. And again, it shows you, defense wins games, defense wins championships. That's one thing that Payton and Harbaugh have in common. They both have elite defenses. But again, the quarterbacks have played better under those coaches this year than we've seen in years past. For obviously Herbert, and obviously with Bo Nix being a rookie, he needed to have the right type of mentor to succeed, and I think that was the perfect pairing. $1 holla. Appreciate you. Let me know what you guys want to do for photos, and I got you. Stacks on stacks, racks on racks, little cactus jack, bang, bang. And we got a nice 3-0 lead out of the Niners here early on. All right, I got you. I mean, no matter how much you hate the Niners, this is a scenario you have to root for them to win. Because otherwise, if you just keep your normal view of fuck the Niners, can't have them win no matter what, and then at the end of the day, the Rams beat you by like a half a game to the playoffs, you guys go home, Rams get in, you guys are going to be livid. So, you want to make sure if there's two teams that are close, even though it is the main rival, you got to root for that main rival to win sometimes if it means your team can get into the playoffs. So. But Kittle is regardless if you're a Seahawk fan or not, there's a couple players, that are on the Niners, that obviously, have the skill set and talent that if for whatever reason they ended up being a Seahawk at the end of their career. It's not like people wouldn't root for this if this ended up being your tight end at the end of his career. Like that would be, obviously you would rather have a guy in the draft like a Brock Bowers, but George Kittle has got a bright future and he'll probably be in WWE at some point or another when his time is done in the NFL. And he's a good talker. He's got a lot of energy. Again, he's a good athlete. And, again, I don't think this guy is going to be missing out on any opportunities for work. And honestly, if he really wanted to, get into something other than WWE, I bet that one of the networks would hire him, whether it be NFL Network or, ESPN to be like one of those guys, just like Kelsey, like in the pregame show or the postgame show. That's if he wanted to do that role. Of course, he wants to spend time with Claire and his dogs, and he's got other things that he probably wants to do. But, he would be one of those guys that would be fun to listen to, storytell and go through, some of the things in his career after he's done. But again, if he's got a chance to do WWE, he may want to do it. All right, Niners kick off. Short game there for the Rams. We're at 6, 94 to go. Two and 4 record to start off, but no Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua. And it shows you, man, if you just can have your star players there, boom, 5-2 record since. And there's been quite a few games where you're like, damn, Stafford looked pretty fucking good. 16 touchdowns, 3 picks, 107.7 rating. I don't know if anyone anticipated that, but again, if you got top 10 receivers, even at an old age, you can still do it. And it shows you Stafford has more game than Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers at his age, some people thought that would be the missing piece to get them to the AFC championship game or beyond. But, some guys, again, are going to be better than others at old age. And Aaron has hit father time. And Stafford, at least at this point, with great players around him, Kyren Williams, Puka Nacua, and Cooper Kupp, he looks like he still has a few years left, especially with that great talent. Look at that. Puka Nacua catching it off the shoulder pad and helmet. Awesome. Second down and 3. Handoff. Good defense there by the Niners. Third down and 3. Well, both teams don't have defense, so Rams, defense is a little suspect. The Bills defense is a little suspect. So, we know that they can put up a lot of points offensively, but Stafford pass incomplete. The 2-2 Atwell, 4th down and 3. Yeah, I'll get you some F1. Should have been an interception there by the Niners. Good tackle there by the Rams. Squeeze in a couple for you. 3-0 Niners. A little surprising that the defense has been so on point up to this point, but that's what happens, Like sometimes, everyone's game planning for the offenses to be great and maybe taking the defenses for granted a little bit. Reflecting the building. What's good? $5 holla. Thank you for the support. Stacks on stacks, racks on racks, little Cactus Jack, bang, bang. Good luck in the fantasy playoffs on your way to the championship. We're at 11, 89 to go. I got Juwan Jennings in this game as well as Cooper Kupp. So hopefully both of those guys end up producing here today. And, even though that, a majority of us are not in, we'll see what happens with Reflect and Double E, as well as Zini and Shep. Shep is favored number-wise, but that doesn't mean that Zini will lose. So we'll see where it all ends up turning out. And me and Captain are going head-to-head, and obviously Megan and Sarah, and then a few of the other individuals, I think Matt and Chief will Chief. So, even though that we might not be playing for the championship, obviously I'm still trying to be able to win every single game until the season's over. So just seeing as many wins and points that I can get from beginning to end here. Let me know what you want to do photo-wise, and I got you. But you have to assume that Kyron's going to get in once or twice today. And hopefully that'll get you some good points for a good start in your matchup with Double E. Man in motion. 3rd down and 4. Purdy. And complete. Intended tight end / receiver George Kittle. 4th down and 4. And another punt. Wow. It's a punt party. Fourth punt of the game. I don't know if we would have predicted that. Because as anyone knows, during the regular season, that takes a lot of skill, right? But when you get to the playoffs, it literally is luck. Because again, you just have to, we all know that those 4 teams have got some solid players, and there's a few teams that just missed the playoffs as well that, have solid, players that are putting up better numbers now than they did at the beginning of the year. But again, all it's going to take is one injury, one player not to finish a game, a 0, or a couple players to shit the bed, where you may end up, having this dream team, superstar team, but you end up losing just this 1 week, and it's just 1 week and 1 week. So literally we could end up having Zini and Reflect, as the, main, obviously championship matchup, or it could end up being Shep and Double E. You never know, especially when players are putting up massive numbers, as of late, when you get guys that are putting up 40, 50, 60 points, out of a single spot, if you get something like that to happen for you, that could definitely change everything. Like with the Josh Allen performance last week, it's not going to happen every week, but with these next 4 weeks, lining up, obviously for, playoff positioning, actually the next 2 weeks, this week and then next week, that'll determine who ends up being the champion here in 2024. Now, it takes a lot of skills to, especially with you, with your record with only 1 loss and not having a lot of injuries that have affected you. Great drafting, but again, once you get to the championship, you can feel like you got the best team in the league, but all it takes is just, some bad luck. And then all of a sudden your championship dreams are over, and then you're going for 3rd place, so I don't know how it's all going to play out, but, hopefully everyone has the best of luck. And hopefully out of the 4, individuals that are left with Zini and Shep and Reflect and Double E, one thing is for sure, I hope that we have no injuries out of any of the players in the starting lineup where they don't finish the game. Hopefully we can get it just, if a player plays like shit, he plays like shit, and then that's going to be on the player, for choosing that individual over maybe another option on the bench. But again, we don't want to see any zeros or ones or threes, based off a guy getting hurt in the first quarter and then not being able to come back. And then that ends up ruining, your championship opportunity. So again, and it's kind of sickening that it could be something as simple, as an injury that could determine, who the champion is. It's not necessarily fair, but again, fantasy is kind of a crapshoot. You don't really know what's going to happen game in and game out. So. But I wish the best of luck for you, Double E, Zini, and Chip. 3-0 Niners. And then tomorrow, there's not really a whole lot going on. We might do the Spurs and Blazers, depending if Klingon comes back from his injury. He's been out for weeks. If I can get him and Wembanyama, I might do the stream tomorrow at 7, maybe, or I will watch it with Paisley. Little check down to Kyron Williams. Nice positive game. And then if not, we'll do Army-Navy at noon, which that was on a little bit later. Army-Navy was on like at 5 p.m. That would be better. But I'll end up doing that since that's the only college football game that's really relevant. And then on Sunday, obviously, we got the Packers and the Hawks. And then we got 2 Monday night games to choose from, obviously, on that particular day. And then once we get into Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, we're going to be having some college football that we can end up doing, which is exciting. And, we won't have to do anything on college hoops or NBA or NHL until probably January or beyond. Kyron bouncing it to the outside, shoestring tackle, and down. Greenlaw with the tackle, first game back from his injury. Yeah, it's definitely been a defensive battle so far. But again, a lot of these games, these teams start really slow and then they get, more hot as the game goes on. So I would assume if we end up having a pretty low scoring first half, in the second half when the defenses get tired, that's when the points are going to come. Pass incomplete to Cooper Kupp. Another punt. Wow. I was not anticipating so many punts here today. But that's football for you, right? You think that this might be a game like the Bills and the Rams where it's high scoring, and it might be the complete opposite. Rams with another punt. All right, Niners, your turn. How's the weather been up there in Washington? Reflect, you guys been getting a lot of rain up there? Me and Paisley have been getting pretty soaked on some of our walks, but, still, I enjoy to get out there. Usually in the morning and at night is the best, so I don't have to deal with people. '20 season, 71 games missed. Yeah, injuries have been brutal to the Niners. This season, 43 games missed for former Pro Bowl selections, most in the NFL. And they're still at 6-7. So it shows you that they're right there with the Rams and just behind, obviously, with the Hawks. So even with all of the injuries, they're still kind of floating around. Purdy towards the sideline. There's my guy, Juwan Jennings. He's the new number 1 receiver. It's no longer, Ayuk is injured. Debo has taken a kind of a step back. And I imagine Double E wished that he had Juwan Jennings over Debo, but Debo could score today. There is a possibility, that Debo could get in the end zone, but really hasn't been the same player in years past. And Juwan Jennings has been kind of the new number 1 receiver, based off this injured team. First down and 10. Purdy. Little check down. Garendo. Short game. That is a good question. I'm not sure. Someone would have to look that up. 3-0 San Francisco. Second down and 5. Guerrero. First down, Niners. Move the chains. And Guerrero is injured. I got him as well, but I wasn't going to chance it playing him today. He could still end up getting into the end zone and getting 10 to 20 points. But, Mike Evans is a little banged up too. And normally I like playing, Buck players. But, if a guy is a little bit beat up and you have other options that could be a little bit better, sometimes you just got to roll the dice with your gut, and I got a lot of guys on my bench that I think I could start, but it just kind of comes to personal preference at this point of the season. Guerrero up the gut to the 50-yard line, 3rd down and 6. See if they can move the chains here. Yeah, if I had to guess, the Niners touchdown scorers, I would imagine Guerrero will get in for at least one. Jennings should get at least one, maybe two. And then Kittle, should have an opportunity to get 1 or 2. And if he doesn't score, he might end up getting close to 80 to 100 yards to actually have a decent day. But obviously getting a tutty would be great for those fantasy owners. Roll play action fake. Pass just a little ahead of Jennings. Oh, it's 12 noon. You know what time it is. Time for a sack lunch. Yum, 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 yum. Kobe Turner sacking Brock Purdy. Man, these defenses are playing like they don't got any injuries out there. Yeah, maybe Ward is back. And again, the Rams have been playing much better football with Cooper and Puka, obviously back in the lineup. I don't know what Brock Purdy was thinking that was going to happen there. Jumping up into the air wasn't going to avoid that sack lunch by Kobe Turner, but nice try. All right, we got the 2-minute warning, 3-0 Niners. So we'll figure out what we end up doing here for the next few days. Maybe Spurs, Blazers tomorrow if Klingon comes back against Wembanyama, for just a couple hours. Then Saturday at noon Pacific, Army versus Navy. That's really the only thing to do. And then we got the big one on Sunday Night Football with the Packers and Hawks. And then depending on how Paisley is doing, I might even try to do Bills and Lions prior to that. Just because that could be a Super Bowl preview. And I think that's going to be like the must-see game, obviously, this weekend besides Packers and the Hawks. So obviously Lions and Bills will be very, very interesting. Oh. Yeah. Sounds like there was some UFO sightings, over here in Oregon for like the last few days, based on some of the military, pilots and whatnot, and I know sometimes people are thinking, oh, that might be just like drones. Obviously we've heard of, drones from Elon, drones on the East Coast from other locations, other countries that are trying to spy and whatnot. But, based on the movement of some of the, kind of verbiage, from some of these military pilots, sounds like UFO activity. But that doesn't really surprise me. You know what I mean? Again, there's going to be all kinds of things that are, out there. Obviously, some are going to be our own, that we reverse engineered. There's obviously going to be drones out there from the United States and from other foreign countries, but there's also going to be things that we cannot explain, and that is big facts. Yeah, and again, military people aren't going to lie. So a lot of times, when you got the Air Force pilots or the military pilots that are commenting on it, it's not just some random person, that is calling in or writing an article. So I feel like, once you actually get it from the military individuals, those are going to be more of the, trustworthy, reports that come out, because they have no real reason to lie about it. If anything, they'll probably get ridiculed and made fun of, that, this is, quote unquote happening and whatnot, even though a lot of us know that they are real. They are existing. They've been here longer than us. So, but a little kind of weird timing, to be able to see that. But I guess there's not a real good time or bad time, for a UFO activity over your home state. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't really know what to think. But I mean, I've walked with Paisley, and I'm outside, an hour and a half, 2 hours a day. And, my dad has had a sighting, and I've had a sighting, and my dad is not the type of guy to lie, whatsoever. And even when I brought it up and talked to him about it, one of the last times that I saw him, he said that he was a little uneasy, and it's kind of weird to see my dad uneasy like that. But he said he felt weird and a little uneasy for about a month after, and that is not into my dad's character of, being a, high school English teacher for like 30, 40 years, retired now, not the type of guy to make shit up. So a little short game there for Blake Corum. But I had my own experience, walking Paisley about 6 months ago, and it definitely was not a drone, because I've never, seen a drone be able to move from one part of the sky, all the way to the other part of the sky in literally a split second, and then go back to the original spot and then go up and then disappear, so I definitely, it was definitely something of the paranormal. Fred Warner, a little bit banged up as he walks to the sideline. And it's not like I've had, many, many different types of sightings and whatnot. And I don't know if it's, if it's like a family thing, or whatnot. But my dad saw his over his property, in his backyard when they were looking for, whatever, shooting stars or just being in the backyard, tipped and complete. And then again, mine was just, on a walk home, with Paisley and whatnot. And, I know what I saw. And it definitely was not, a drone or anything like that, because there was nothing in the sky besides that. So, but it's definitely the same type of, video where you see it, move kind of erratically and, go, very, long distances in a split second and then go up and disappear. And that's exactly what I saw as well. 3rd down and 7. Shotgun set, Niners bringing blitz. Stafford, sideline, and they are just all out of sync. Defenses are playing very, very well here today. That's not very good for fantasy purposes for Niner and Rams players up to this point. And we got another punt. Rams with another punt. Obviously the line of scrimmage is being won by the defensive lines on both teams. Go, baby, go. Decent game there. Off the kickoff return. 1st down and 10 on the San Fran 30. Anything you want to be able to see photo-wise, let me know. See what other Kittles I can get up here for captain, and then reflect. Anything else you want to be able to see, you let me know. And now the rain is starting to come down there in San Fran, and that'll affect a little bit. If they were having a hard time with the weather being, not wet, and now the rain is coming down, this could definitely affect a lot of people's fantasies here tonight, including mine. Lorendo, short game. End of the first quarter, 3-0 Niners. I don't think anyone anticipated this. Hopefully it starts picking up. Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate you. Reflect with that $89 donut, making sure that we get to goal. And again, I've wanted to do streams the last couple days, but there really wasn't anything worth doing. So spent a lot of time with Paisley, got caught up with some shows. Bang, bang. Appreciate you. Stacks on stacks, racks on racks, little Cactus Jack. But thank you so much. It means a lot. And let me know what you want to do photo-wise, and I got you. But again, we might end up taking the day off tomorrow, or I'll do Spurs Blazers at 7 p.m. Pacific, depending on if Klingon comes back against Wemby. And then Saturday, Army Navy. Sunday, Hawks hosting the Packers on Sunday night, maybe even a second stream earlier in the day with the Bills and the Lions. And then on Monday night, we have a choice to do Bears Vikings or Falcons Raiders. But I don't really think there's anyone that would want to see Falcons Raiders. I would rather see Vikings Bears to check out, the Vikings players and to see Caleb, even if he struggles. Now, if Michael Penix Jr. was going to start for the Falcons, then I would do that game. But since the Raiders don't really have a quarterback, and even if the Falcons play like shit, you would assume that they'll win, but they have been reeling, and Kirk Cousins has looked not very good in the last month. So, if Penix was starting, probably would do that Falcons game. But if he's not, we're going to go do Vikings and Bears. But again, the one I'm really looking forward to, obviously Steelers-Eagles is another great matchup. Pittsburgh hasn't won in Philly in like a billion years. So if Pittsburgh does, it'll be the first time almost ever. And then that will be great. Bills-Lions will be great. So there's quite a few decent matchups this weekend as far as the NFL is concerned. And then when we get into college football, after I do Army-Navy more than likely on Saturday, then we're going to be able to start it off. Scooters Coffee Frisco Bowl will be Tuesday night, number 25 Memphis versus West Virginia. So we'll probably do that. Wednesday will be California and UNLV and the Art of Sport LA Bowl. And then once we get closer into the weekend, then starting on Friday, it'll be the college football playoff. Number 10 Indiana versus number 7 Notre Dame at 5 on Friday. Hell yeah, we're going to do that. And then we'll also do Tennessee and Ohio State on Saturday. So even though those earlier bowl matchups, they might not be too relevant for a lot of us, but at least it gives us some football to watch on Tuesday and Wednesday after Monday Night Football rather than nothing, and I would rather work than not. So thank you so much, man. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Captain with a 3-er. Thank you. Every dollar counts. Stacks on stacks, racks on racks, little Cactus Jack, bang, bang. Appreciate you. Yeah, Colts Broncos could be a little bit better than people think as well. Could go either way, right? Let me know what you guys want to do photo-wise, and I got you. 3-0 Niners. But we need things to pick up here and pick up drastically. I mean, especially if Purdy and Kittle have bad games, right? He didn't start the Niners D in this particular matchup. Shep went Baltimore against the Giants, which I would have done as well. But if Purdy and Kittle have a bad game here, that might be the end of Shep. So we'll find out. Obviously, got 3 more quarters to pick it up. So, and Kyron at a low number, Debo at a low number for Elliott and for Reflect, but it's really early. And obviously, I got 0 with Kupp and only 2.3 with Jennings, so not ideal for the first quarter. Flag on the play. Debo, come on, Debo. Correct. Yes, I agree. But I hope Jennings gets in the end zone and gets me at least 10 to 15 because, again, I have Mark Andrews, I got Downs, I got Evans, right? Guerendo, Shakir, Adam Thielen. I mean, I got options. I got literally every person I have on my bench I could play. And that's really what I want every single week, that I have options, And again, if I didn't go with Juwan Jennings, I was actually highly considering going Adam Thielen. Because again, since he's been healthy, he's been kind of banging out points the last 2 weeks, and to do it 3 weeks in a row would be, kind of tough, but that's going to be Bryce Young's number one guy. So, sometimes you can't look at name recognition and you just got to go based on, how you feel the game is going to go. But with all this rain that's happening in this game and the sluggish start, hopefully Jennings can find a way, because fuck, man, I want to make sure that I get as many points as possible here. I don't want to leave a bunch of 20s on my bench. So, but I like being able to have options. It's like, you can have a lot of different, running backs and receivers, but, you want to make sure that you have confidence that you could literally play anybody. And, Andrews, Downs, Evans, Gorendo, Mahomes, Shakir, Thielen. Like, I literally could play any of those bench guys, but I decided to go Jennings over Mike Evans. Hopefully that doesn't burn me tonight. And then Cooper Kupp at the flex. And so far, it's not looking too hot, but we'll see where it goes. But Thielen has been looking pretty money. And I was actually kind of surprised that nobody tried to grab him. But again, I'm always going to be working the wire regardless if I'm in the top 3 or the bottom 4. I'm going to keep, getting quality pieces to try to help, to get as many points as possible. But I was a little shocked that no one was trying to grab him. Or if they did try to get him, obviously, I had a higher priority. So, but I know that if I was a playoff team, that would be a piece that I would want to add to my bench to consider. Purdy, going long, going deep. Kittle. Incomplete. Any flags on the play? Wow. Yeah. Well, good thing I let Laporta go, right, for you, and you could scoop him up, so now you have 2 options. And, and I got 2 options, too. I got Jonnu Smith and Mark Andrews, so it's not like I missed out on Laporta, and all of a sudden he's getting you 20 points a game and I have no option in return. So, if Laporta was more consistent for me at the beginning of the year, then I would have hung on to him. There's no way I would have got rid of him, but Jonnu Smith started to get hot at the right time and I had Andrews instead, and, but hopefully it works out. But at least it gives you options now, I got 2 tight ends. I'm out of it, though. You got 2 tight ends, and that's a good thing to have, to be able to have options, just in case the matchup is, not very good, and you can still have another top 10 tight end. Again, tight ends have not been very good this year unless you've had George Kittle or Brock Purdy, and obviously me and Reflect don't have either one of those guys, but we can still pick up the other guys that are in the top 10. Good special teams by the Niners there. Yeah, like I said, Andrews looked like he was going to be getting more targets. I had to roll the dice. It worked out. And then I got Jonnu Smith and just started him instead, and he's been even better than Andrews. But again, it's like, you don't really know how many targets, each guy is going to get. And, the limited targets for Laporta and the limited targets for Andrews just makes you want to pull your hair out. And then, getting Jonnu Smith, it was just volume, right? But he almost got me a 0 last week. And then if that game didn't go into overtime, I would have been screwed. So, all right, Rams, your turn. What a sloppy game here in the rain so far. But one thing is for sure, if anyone is going to score in this game, you would assume the running backs are going to both get in. Kyren once or twice, as well as Gorendo. They're going to get in, obviously with the rain coming down, and then again, passing touchdowns might be a little bit less for Puka, Cooper Kupp, or, if it ends up going to Tutu Atwell or Demarcus Robinson or, another option. Same thing with the Niners. If it's not Kittle or, Juwan Jennings or Debo, we'll see where the looks go. But so far, both teams having a hard time moving the ball and getting consecutive first downs. Kyren taking a tackle, bouncing off, spin move, first down, Rams. God, he's a stud. Top 3 running back in the NFL this year. And again, when you end up getting a guy like David Montgomery, as your flex, like Reflect, and then you compare the Kyren with the Joe Mixon, it might not be the most popular names, but it doesn't have to be. It just has to be studs that produce. And a great trio of backs that got you to this point. Kyren is money. Yeah, I mean, it's coming down. And again, it wasn't raining too hard to start the game. But again, Both defensive lines have been winning the line of scrimmage. And now with this rain coming down, the touch on the passes from Purdy and Stafford really haven't been there. They weren't even there before it started raining. And now with the rain coming down, it's going to be worse. But hopefully the defenses will get tired in the third and fourth quarter, and we will get a couple big chunk plays to give us that excitement. Again, I love defense, but no one wants to watch a 6-3 game final or a 9-6 game. We want to see defense, but we also want to see some scoring and some excitement. But 33 total yards out of the Rams is not good. Second down and 12, shotgun set, Stafford, Kyren running right into Fred Warner there, short game. Yep, exactly. If I knew it was going to be like this, I probably wouldn't have started Juwan Jennings. I probably would have went, Adam Thielen instead, or one of my other options, But it is what it is. I mean, it's not like it's impossible for guys to score in the rain, but Jennings already has me 5.1, but I could have went double tight ends. I could have went Jonnu Smith and Mark Andrews. We got Downs coming back, Mike Evans, Shakir with Josh Allen against the Lions, right? Go Stafford, go. Go Stafford, go. First down, Rams, and then Adam Thielen too. So hopefully, fingers crossed that I'm not leaving like a billion points on my bench, but we'll see if me and Captain can go at it and have a good matchup between the two of us. Yeah, 100%. A little helmet to helmet there by Fred Warner. Agreed. But also, you got players too, that could end up putting up monster, 25, 30, 35 points too. Kyren, Mixon, right? Montgomery can get 20 plus, if he gets 2 tutties. You got the personnel. It's just a matter of if that the Titan defense steps up enough, even though they're a bad team, but their defense has been decent, at times in the season. And if they can slow down Jamar and slow down Burrow and slow down Chase Brown, that could be the difference in that matchup with Zini and Shep. Because if those 3 players shit the bed, then you're going to lose. Just like if Brock Purdy and Kittle don't have a good game, that might be the end of Shep as well. So we'll see what happens. The tough matchups, obviously for both, we would assume. It's not going to be easy peasy, right? Could be a little bit more challenging for Burrow, Chase Brown, and Jamar Chase than like, let's say, playing the fucking Ravens and having no defense, which they did that against me, right? So, if we're looking for a big performance, then, be lucky that I'm in the league, because it seems like everyone that ends up having a career day or a career week, it's against me. So all you guys should be safe. 3-0 Niners. Stafford. Sidearm towards the sideline to Puka, incomplete. Just out of range for Puka Nacua there. Sidearm throw. He had the right idea, but just floated that football in the rain a little bit too much. What a sloppy game, man. Anyone that's got players in this game that aren't running backs, I would be a little nervous. But again, hopefully that the either rain stops in the second half or the defenses get tired and we can get some points, because at this point the game is going to be a 6-3 game if we keep playing like this, and we need more than this. I don't want the fantasy championship or the fantasy playoffs to be determined by this particular game for a good chunk of the players. But again, there's going to be a lot of people that are kind of pulling their hair out right now looking at what's going on in this scoreboard being 3-0 with 8 minutes left in the second quarter. Not good. Shotgun set. Stafford. Little flip, incomplete. Yeah, that helps too. That helps too when you scored like second most, I think, to Zini, right? And you gave it up the least, and that means obviously you're dominating every week, and that's why you only have one loss. So you had a great year. Rams with the punt. Man, that's a punt party. But I got done watching My Name is Earl, so I got that one out of the books. Still watching a little bit of The Walking Dead. I started Shameless, from season 1, episode 1, just to watch the chaos kind of unfold, even though I've watched that show, when it was live. And it's kind of like a train wreck that you can't keep your eyes from not looking at. And I feel like every episode of Shameless is like that. But me and Elliot, we love that show, and I know he still needs to finish it, but hopefully I don't finish it before him. I mean, I'm on season 1, episode 5 already, so we'll see where it goes. (3-0) Niners. Throw a couple Hawk photos up here for Reflect. Getting ready for that Sunday night matchup against the Packers. Can't wait for that. Little Golden Gate Bridge there on the thumbnail instead of just doing the regular, Niner background. Something a little different. Must-win game. And I'll definitely be rooting for Seattle. I mean, I really don't get too annoyed with too many, teams or fan bases, but, Green Bay, if I had to choose one team in the NFL that, I will never support or I'll never root for, it definitely is the Packers. Not for me. Some of their fan base can be okay, but for a majority, not for my liking. So I'm definitely going to be rooting for Seattle to hopefully beat the brakes off of them. But I know it'll be very close. Yeah, Shameless is very good, very good, and it also makes you appreciate. I feel like what you have, because you see, it is a bunch of chaos and a bunch of crime and a bunch of craziness. But at the end of the day, they love each other, and you can see that in the show that, even with the chaos, the love is there, and again, that's what really holds them together, within all the chaos that's happening in the show, which I fucking love. All right, this rain is coming down for McVay and Shanahan. Can we get a little bit more offense here, please? For everyone that's in the fantasy playoffs and the people that aren't. Come on, Jauan Jennings. I put you in over Mike Evans, as well as a lot of other guys. Catch the ball. I know it's raining. Come on. Come on. I mean, gosh, I should have looked at the weather report, for the whole entire, 3-hour set of this game. I wouldn't have played Jauan Jennings, and even though I think Jennings will have the best chance to score on the Niners besides Kittle and Guerrero, but gosh, this rain is coming down. I mean, I don't know if we're going to get any touchdowns in the first half. Unless someone throws a bomb and gets a PI and gets the ball down on that side of the field, that seems like the only way that you're going to get the ball down there is if you end up throwing a Hail Mary for 60, you get PI, then you get the ball within the 20, 30-yard line, get a couple more first downs, and then you're in business. But, I mean, unless we can get Guerrero or Kyron Williams to rip one off for 50 or 60. But, I mean, it seems like the field is a little bit too slippery for that, unless it's a complete blown coverage, but we'll find out. Yeah, but it was always about money for Soto, It never was anything other than that. He's already won a championship with the Nationals, so Bryce Harper left to Philadelphia, and he ended up winning one. So once you win one, that's like the pinnacle. Some guys want to win more than one, but for some guys, one's enough. And then you can just worry about your personal accolades and just get paid and get the most money that you want. So, now if Soto didn't win with the Nats, then yeah, maybe he would have went back to the Yankees, or maybe his mind would have been a little bit different, or maybe he would have been willing to take a little bit less to go to, a team like the Dodgers or the Yankees. But, if you want to get as much money as you possibly can, he got it. Good tackle there by the Rams. Guerrero, short game. Yeah, and also the Yankees, if they didn't have Soto, they wouldn't have even made it that far, because they can't do that with, just Giancarlo Stanton and Judge. So if they don't get another all-star player like Soto to join New York, the chances of them making the World Series next year is next to none. They might be able to make the playoffs, but they're not going to go on a deep run, without having another guy like Soto in the lineup. Pass to the sideline to Jennings, incomplete, of course. 3rd down and 11. Come on. And the Mets probably shouldn't even really have made the playoffs this year, but, Francisco Lindor had a great year. Pete Alonso, the polar bear, got hot at the right time. Obviously they weren't able to make it all the way, but maybe now, their fan base thinks that they'll have a much better chance now. Oh, it's 12 noon. You know what time it is? Time for a sack lunch. Yum, 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 yum. Man, this is a sloppy, wet, rainy, miserable matchup. We're at 103, 97 to go. But that's good for the Mariners, right? One less, team that isn't a super team anymore. But again, there is still going to be some shifting around. And we'll find out if, let's say, for example, Kyle Tucker leaves the Astros, what team he joins. That could be a game changer, because we know Kyle Tucker is one of the best baseball players that is playing. And, whatever team he goes to will be a huge loss to Houston and a huge gain for whoever gets him. Flag on the play. Yeah, too bad there wasn't snow here in California. Snow, we could at least put up with snow and then be like, ooh, seeing the white cover the field, seeing the players slide around. And then if it ends up being a little bit low scoring, we just have that vibe of snow. It's fun. But when you're in the rain, right, and everyone's miserable and you can't move the football, you can't run, you can't throw, I guess really the only thing that we've been able to see is good defense up to this point, like amazing defense, but again, there's a lot of slippage and there's not really a lot of time to go through progression. So it's definitely playing into the defense, and offensive weapons in fantasy right now, not looking too hot. But hopefully the second half will be better. Either the rain will let up, or the, offense will be able to get into a rhythm where we can get a couple big splash plays, and then you just got to hope that your player is the one that has the splash play. Like right now, Cooper Kupp is at a fucking 0 for me. Jesus Christ, 0? Doesn't even have a reception? At least Jennings is at a 5, but then when I look at like all the other options that I have on my bench, Andrews, Downs, Evans, Guerrero, Shakir, Thielen, what did I do? But, it is what it is. Yeah, obviously, if you're New York, getting Tucker, for Soto would be huge. Soto leaves, you end up getting Tucker. Tucker is a much better defender than Soto. Soto is one-dimensional. He can hit, but he can't defend. But he can sure hit the hell out of the ball, and he has a vibe and an aura about him. But as far as a defensive player, two-way player, he's not it. But if they got Tucker, that could put them, in the same type of position that obviously New York had with Judge and Soto and Giancarlo. 3-0 Niners. Can we get some fantasy points, please? No, Gabriel has 0% chance. 0. No, it's going to go to Ashton Genty or Travis Hunter. That's it. There's no other option. So, just like like NFL MVP might end up going to Josh Allen, and even though that we know the MVP and offensive rookie or offensive player of the year can both go to Saquon, but they're not going to give one's got to go to one, and typically MVP goes to quarterback, and then even though Saquon is deserving of the MVP, he'll get offensive player of the year. That's just how it works, But Saquon is one of those rare individuals that he is, deserving of the MVP, even over offensive player of the year. But for whatever reason, that's just the way that those votes, get calculated and tallied in. So. Yeah, but Genty, offensive player of the year, no brainer. Guys putting up numbers like fucking Barry Sanders. There's no one that's even close. I mean, his yards after contact are higher than the second place person. So, shows you what kind of year he's having. Little short game there for Kyren Williams. Shit, you got haters that are hating that Shedeur Sanders isn't going to be there over, Dylan Gabriel. But, based off stats and whatnot. But, one team's undefeated, won the Big Ten, and the others in the Big 12, and didn't really do a whole lot. I mean, they had a pretty good year, but it's not like they won the Big 12. But they had a mass improvement from the year before, so I'll give Deion and Travis Hunter and Shedeur Sanders that. But if they don't have Travis Hunter and Shedeur Sanders, we're not even talking about Deion. Let's be real, right? If he doesn't have those two guys, his son and Travis Hunter, we're not even talking about Colorado. Maybe they'll probably be, 500 team, or maybe even worse. Yeah, I know. Colorado fans always. I mean, it's like you already got one Heisman guy in Travis Hunter that more than likely is going to win it, him or Genty. Like, you don't need to have both of your Colorado players. It's not like Colorado's the number one team in the land, and they got both of those guys. Plus, Shedeur Sanders kind of has a shit attitude like his dad. I like Deion the player, you know what I mean? But those guys are just, I always love Deion. He's one of my favorite defensive players, but, just as far as his attitude and whatnot, and the way they treat others, not really for me, like, great athletes and whatnot, but a little bit too much of a talker for my liking. Certain guys, have different types of personality that, that either rub you the wrong way or the right way. You like them, you don't like them. But I've never really been. I think Shedeur's a good player, but I just think that his attitude of me attitude is going to be the killer to his career. Like Travis Hunter, he's a cool dude. He seems like more down to earth, and he's more of a team guy. And wherever he goes, he'll succeed. Being a two-way player, and and being hungry and wanting to grind. Shedeur Sanders to me seems like entitled that, I'm already have a Bentley and I'm already rich. My dad's Deion. Like, I don't really think he's going to have the work ethic to work as hard as he can to be the best player he can. To me, he doesn't have that in him, and that's a red flag for me. And that's why I wouldn't want to draft him. He's a name, but when it comes down to actual hard work, is he going to give you the same kind of hard work as Travis Hunter or Genty or some of these other guys? I highly doubt it. He's going to want to live the nightlife and go clubbing and, hang out with the girls and, party. Like, I don't really think football is his prime focus. 2-minute warning, 3-0 Niners. Ooh, number 3 pick. Hopefully we get someone good. Yeah. But, I mean, even if the Raiders draft him, Shedeur, or the Giants, it's not going to turn the team around. That's one piece out of $1 billion that they need on both of those organizations. So, I guess one's got Brock Bowers to throw to. So I guess, going to the Raiders would be more appealing, even though you have to play in the division with the Chiefs and the Chargers and the Broncos. But, I wouldn't want to go to fucking New York. Like, the Giants are fucking terrible. Like the Raiders might be terrible, but their fan base and what the product that they can put on the field, it seems like they'll be able to get out of the hole a little bit sooner, depending on, the coach and the supporting cast and, and how they end up doing in the draft the next couple years. So, heck yeah. I wonder who we'll end up getting. I'm afraid to look at fantasy points right now. Oh, 3-0 Niners. So Jennings is at 5. Kupp is at 0. Awesome. Debo's at 3.3 for E. And you got 5.8 for Kyron for Reflect. Purdy's got 3.6. Kittle's got 6.3 for Shep. Not ideal. Puka 2.5 for Chief of Chief. And that's about it. Yeah, I'm itching for baseball, man. I mean, I love the NFL. I love college football. I love watching wrestling as well. But like when I don't got baseball, I obviously that's going to be a nice, transition to go from baseball after NFL and college is over. And thank God we have something that we love as much as baseball to cover us for that 6-month period while we're waiting, for NFL and college to come back. And then obviously I get NASCAR back in like February. So I'll have NASCAR after football's over on Sundays. And then I'll have baseball, once we get into that in April, where I can record every day for the most part and do Mariner games. And then I'll be good for the mental health. And, it'll be good to, keep consistent and whatnot. But again, this college football playoff is going to be really exciting, as well as the NFL playoffs this year. Feels like it's going to really start to ramp up. Oh, yeah, we definitely need better positional players, guys that can hit for average and can defend. Guys that are versatile. Screen pass, Puka Nacua, and Fred Warner and the Niner defense have come to play. 4th down. And Niner fans are going to want a refund after this one. Like, what are we doing here? 3-0? Fantasy championships on the line. Can we get some points, please? 4th down and 2. Might as well just go to Kyron. Man in motion. But they're not even going to snap it. They're just trying to draw him off sides. Going for the field goal. Field goal up. And good. 3-3. Rams and Niners. This is not what we were expecting, but hopefully the second half will be better. Yeah, 40% chance of rain my ass. But hopefully we can get some, long completions or long runs to make it interesting. Nice 48-yarder there by the Rams to tie it up at 3. Yeah, we need the rain to stop. I mean, again, I'm not sure if that's going to solve the problems with Purdy and Stafford, but it can't make it any worse if it stops raining, right? Hopefully it ends up giving us a little bit of a break, at least for one of the quarters. Otherwise, we're going to end up getting a 9-6 kind of game or something, and that's not going to be ideal. Because, again, if you got a lot of players on the Rams and Cardinals, this is not looking too well. All right, Paisley's in here now. Lay down, honey. Are you hungry? You want dinner? I'm going to go get Paisley's dinner. I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. Did it get a hand on it? Oh wow, he got his hands on it, fingers on it. It still went in. That would be crazy if Shep ends up losing the playoffs just by the fact of starting Purdy and Kittle. That could do it. Especially in a game like this, being only 3-3. Playoff picture, you got a couple contenders there, and the Lions and the Eagles, and then just everybody else. Hawks, Bucks, Vikings, Packers, and Commandos. And obviously Vikings are the closest thing to the Eagles and Lions, but playoff positioning and obviously playoff games would be a little bit different. Because I feel like Minnesota, they have a great defense this year, Van Ginkel and company, and Darnold has been streaky, but I feel like they're beatable. They only got a couple losses this year, but I feel like if Seattle played Minnesota, Tampa played Minnesota, the Commandos played Minnesota, the Packers played Minnesota, I don't think Minnesota would win every single matchup. We know Detroit and Philadelphia are the two best in the NFC and the only ones that I feel that could make the Super Bowl. But if you were going to say a third team, I imagine a lot would say probably Minnesota. It was maybe Green Bay before they slipped up a little bit, but I'm not sure, how they would do in the playoffs though. Regular season Sam Darnold compared to postseason Sam Darnold might be a little different. And same thing goes obviously on the AFC side, right? We got the Bills, the Chiefs, and the Steelers, and that's about it. And then everyone else, you might be able to make the playoffs, Chargers, Ravens, Broncos, the Texans, but I'm not sure if we feel that those teams could really make a deep run. Purdy, floater, and complete. Juwan Jennings, the intended receiver. Of course, I have him. No catch. 4th down and 4. It makes you kind of wonder why they haven't done that yet. Where like you just have a guy that's like, over 7 foot, and then their role is specifically just to stand up and jump and block field goals. Someone that, has a good, 40-inch vert, and they're, like you said, like a 6'11" to 7'5" kind of player, and then they, only use them on special teams just for that particular role. Like getting a basketball player just to play that special teams only. All right, we got 29 seconds left here before half. I got Paisley some food for dinner, so we'll see if she comes back in here after she's done. We'll get some more Hawk photos here at halftime. This will be a good one. Hawks at home. It's going to be the biggest game of the year for Seattle. Puka. Here we go. Looks like the rain is finally kind of letting up. And hopefully it lets up for the rest of the game so that way we can get at least one team in the 20s before the game ends. I mean, I don't know what what we can expect, like what the Like, what's the highest that we could get? Like 24-17, something like that. And that might be a stretch. We're only at 3-3 right now, and that's halftime. Unbelievable. Niner fans want a refund. Rams fans want a refund. Fantasy players want a refund to change their players now. Oh, my. Yeah, not good at all. I got a 0 with Cooper Kupp. I mean, if I was in the playoffs right now and I had the numbers that I have right now, I'd be losing my shit right now. 5? That's it? Between two guys? 5? And that's all by Jennings, you know? But that's life for you. What do you want to see for photos reflect during halftime? If you don't have to step away, let me know. I'm just going to sprinkle in some Hawk photos, and if there's anything else that you want to be able to see, same thing with you, Captain. You know, you guys are both Hawks, so again, anything you guys want to be able to see player-wise, you let me know, and I'll sprinkle it in. For your guys' generosity and support to the channel means everything. Gino, all right, perfect. That's what I was thinking. I was thinking that's where you wanted to go. I got you. You got anybody specific you want to see other than Kittle? Ooh, that's a cool one. I haven't seen this one before. I mean, this one will get added on, I think, to the collection here. Captain or Reflect, you guys ever get a chance to go to like the practices before the season starts? You guys ever have an opportunity to go up there and like see the players or get autographs or anything? He said, show the QB. I don't even want to say his name. I got you. Yeah, JSN, great year. Yeah, but again, they haven't been going to Amon-Ra or Laporta all year. So it's been all Montgomery and Gibbs, and that's pretty much it, you know, and JMO, you know, and they've been avoiding Laporta and Amon-Ra. I mean, you know, some games kind of towards the end of the season, the back end of the season, they were getting a little bit more involved. But for a guy that could be a top 5 wide receiver in Amon-Ra and a guy that was the best tight end in football, for them to like ignore those two players, you know, we'll have to see if they end up getting ramped up in the playoffs. But I was a little shocked that they didn't utilize those two players as much as they should have, and they still got an amazing record. JSN from Ohio State. Yeah. $11 punts. And of course, we get it as soon as we're going to the fantasy playoffs. Ridiculous. Matt in the building. What's good? Purdy's going to be flexing like this. We got to have a higher score than 3-3. Come on, offense. We need some points out of all the fantasy players. Let's go. Packers Hawks this weekend. Going to be great. Steelers Eagles. That's going to be great. Bills Lions. That's going to be great. Next weekend, you know, we got the bye or whatever, so we'll play Ohio State more than likely if they beat Tennessee. So we got to go through the first round of games. So, you know, again, we might do Spurs and Blazers tomorrow, possibly if Klingon comes back. Then Army Navy is on Saturday at noon, and then we got to wait a little bit. You know, Memphis, West Virginia on Tuesday, California, UNLV on Wednesday. And then on Friday, we'll have Indiana and Notre Dame. And then on Saturday, SMU, Penn State, Clemson, Texas, Tennessee, Ohio State. And again, if Ohio State wins that game, then we're going to play them, obviously, the following weekend. Or we play them January 1st. So that's going to be the Rose Bowl. So we have to wait till January 1st for the Ducks to play after all these other, you know, games are played. So yeah, January 1st, Rose Bowl. Yeah, there'll be a lot of Duck fans there for sure. You the man. And we're going to be coming out from halftime. Hopefully we don't have any more rain for the rest of the game, and we can actually get this game into 2017 territory or 23-20 territory. I don't really know if we're going to be able to get to that point, but hopefully we get at least one team that gets to 20 and the other team gets to 17, and we can actually have a decent matchup here. And hopefully everyone's fantasy players can put up some points. Purdy, Guerrero, Jawan Jennings, Kittle, Cooper Kupp, Puka Nacua, and Kyron Williams. Hopefully we can get some quality numbers out of these guys before the game is up. We need to channel our inner beast mode. Okay, let's go, baby. Let's get some points. Let's go, Gino. Put the team on your back. Can't wait till this weekend. Yeah, I mean, Tez is back. So, I mean, we're still going to have some guys that are, a little bit banged up with all this extra time now after winning the Big Ten, not having to play until January 1. If anyone had any lingering, calves or ankles or elbows or whatever, they should be good to go, obviously for that Rose Bowl against either Tennessee or Ohio State. So, Chief Will Chief in the building. What's good, brother? Yeah, I mean, literally probably one of the slowest games of the year. They said they had the most punts, out of any game in 2024. And again, these teams have like some fun offensive players. It's just that the defense and the rain were the biggest factor in this matchup. And on top of that, fantasy purposes, like think about how many people globally have players playing. Guerrero, Jawan Jennings, George Kittle, Kyron Williams, Puka Nacua, Cooper Kupp. I mean, 23 passing yards for fucking Matthew Stafford total isn't not going to get it done, So we'll see how the second half hopefully turns up a little bit more than what we saw in the first half. But it's nice that we have the college football playoff as well as the bowl games, because that'll keep us busy here on the channel, and I'm going to be doing as many of those games as I can. So that way we don't have to necessarily do the NBA or the college hoops unless Duke is playing, or NHL. I would rather do NBA and NHL next year into 2025 when there's less to do, then we can focus on those. But, if we have options to do something else, I would rather go that route. So. We got to get Cooper Kupp some catches, baby. Good special teams. The Niners and the Rams on special teams and on defense have been phenomenal tonight. I mean, obviously the rain has been the biggest X factor, but if it ends up stopping and we have 2 clean quarters, we should be able to get some big explosive plays here. Now, for fantasy purposes, you want your guy to score, because now, I mean, the opportunities are so limited. You got nothing in the first half. So now it's like you really got to pray that your player that you have in the starting lineup hits here in the second half. First down and 10. Man in motion. Hand off to Kyron. And Kyron has had a couple decent runs, but he hasn't been able to really break away, from the second unit. He's been able to run away from the D linemen and the D tackles, but once he gets past that first unit, then that second unit with Fred Warner is right there, and he's not able to get past them in the first half, obviously with the rain as well, being able to plant and go. But now with the rain stopped, looks like some people have changed cleats. Hopefully that'll make the difference, and we can get some good football here in the second half. Stafford, again to Kyron. Short gain. Good coverage there by the Niners secondary. They're blanketing Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua. At least Puka's got some stats. Cooper doesn't got anything yet. Man in motion. Shotgun set. Stafford hanging on to the football way too long. Incomplete. Terrible. Another punt. My God. But again, Stafford doesn't have really enough time, and the corners and safeties have done a good job, either in man or zone, of blanketing these top-end pieces, two top-end receivers. But Cooper Kupp is no longer the one, he's the two, and so obviously that's going to be less targets for him, but still capable of putting up top 10 stats, because I think both are top 10 receivers. It's just you only have one football. Like, sub, donate, comment, share. If you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. And hopefully we'll get a few more people to come through to say hello and hang out and watch this game. We need 8 more likes to be able to get to 20. So if you are in the room and haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. Now we need 7 more. And I know 3-3, it's not ideal, but again, we're getting towards the end of the NFL season, and you want to make sure that you're watching as many games as possible before we get to a point where there's no more football. And I guess for a lot of us, we love baseball, so it doesn't matter after football ends. But for the people that are only football people, after these next few weeks, you're going to have a long window if you're not into NASCAR or baseball to kind of carry you over, or college hoops or the NBA. Yeah, all the schedules of the Big Ten came out, and the biggest game for Oregon is at Penn State. No Ohio State, no Michigan on the schedule, which is absurd. But again, if we end up winning the Natty this year, we might win the Natty next year. We got a super easy schedule. The Big Ten is easy. The Big Ten is soft. It's not hard compared to the Pac-12. And then, not having Michigan or Ohio State on the schedule every year is absurd. And I get it. We're adding more teams to this super conference, but I don't like the fact of having this super cake easy schedule where the hardest game of the year is Penn State on the road, and that's it. And then if we win that, we have a chance to go undefeated. And again, the strength of schedule is not going to be in our favor, even if we win the Natty this year, if we are lucky enough, but I was not happy with the schedule. I guess for some people, they like it because, easy. And now there is going to be, teams that might try to clip us, regardless if we win the Natty this year or not. But, the hardest game is just Penn State. That's it. I did not like seeing that one bit. But, again, it's one of the easiest schedules I think I've ever seen in my entire life. So, besides the Penn State game that Oregon could lose, but anybody could lose at Penn State. Anybody could. It's a tough environment. But if Oregon was able to win that game, they could go undefeated again next year. So I don't know if this is the beginning of a dynasty for Oregon, but hopefully after next year's schedule, we'll get back Ohio State and Michigan on the schedule, because I don't like not having them on the schedule. Pass incomplete. But next year's schedule is way too easy. Way, 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 way too easy. But again, that's what happens when you end up trying to build a super conference for the Big Ten or the SEC, and then you start to realize with so many teams in there, if you don't actually have the top teams playing each other, for a certain year, it's going to be cake. Based off the schedule, I mean, it looks like, depending on with all the recruits coming in and how things go this year, it looks like, potentially one loss for Oregon next year, and that's it. Could go undefeated. So, and then obviously not playing good competition in the regular season, George Kittle with the catch, isn't good because then, we're not battle tested. And then if we end up playing teams in the playoffs, we could lose, that first tough matchup. Since we're not going to really have that many tough matchups. I mean, of course, some of the teams that were not as good this year could be better next year, but what a soft schedule. Don't like it one bit. Yeah, it's just, I don't know, man. I mean, I want to be able to have challenges and I want to be able to have like bowl game matchups in the regular season. So that way we can, have something to look forward to. I don't want to have some easy cake schedule where everyone's bitching and moaning that we don't have any top 25 wins besides Penn State if we win that game. We only, we're not the ones putting the schedule together, but that's a little bit of a flaw. But I guess, it is what it is. And we just have to play who's on the schedule and do our best. And if we end up going undefeated next year, then so be it. But, but when we go to the playoff, I want to make sure we're battle tested up to that point, not just one time. Birdie, pass behind him, Guerrero, short game. Yeah. I mean, like I said, we could end up turning into the next Georgia. Like it could happen, especially if we win this year. If we win this year and then we get all these people coming over based off the Natty and we have that soft, easy schedule, we could win it the next year. It's like not like a dream. It could happen, like legitimately. And then the following year, I assume that we'll have Michigan and Ohio State on the schedule if we don't have them next year. But obviously, it's very difficult to win back-to-back or even to try to three-peat. It usually doesn't happen, but it definitely feels like we're starting to build something special. Field goal is up and good. Oh, it's a field goal party. 6-3 Niners. Golly. I mean, we're just going to need to get a quarterback next year, but, if we have Dante Moore and that, I would want some reassurance, other than Dante Moore, like another high school quarterback phenom, another, transfer so that way that we can have the best competition. Because I don't know if Dante Moore is good enough, to get us to go undefeated. Big drop. Jesus Christ. Debo. What happened to my hands, Debo? Debo. Why? And then the crowd boos. That's why you're not the number one anymore. Jauan Jennings is. Yeah, I saw that. And he hasn't been good this year. Jauan Jennings has been better and is the one, A nice kick by Moody to get them some points. Something's better than nothing. 6-3 Niners. It also shows you that, in college football schedules, normally even the top teams, in a, 10, 11, 12 game season, you're only going to have at most probably 3 top 25 wins, and again, some teams are going to have none. Some teams are only going to have 1 or 2 based off the schedule. So it's not like Oregon's going to have 3 top 25 wins again, where we had it against Boise State, Illinois, and Ohio State. I mean, Penn State, that's one, but we don't really know how the rest of the Big Ten is going to shake up, schedule-wise. But, yeah, when they released that schedule, I wasn't too happy about it. Yeah, I mean, it kind of feels like, we could do a Michigan. It feels like, we're the best team in the country. But again, if we have one bad half or a bad fourth quarter, we could, if Tennessee upsets Ohio State, we could lose in the Rose Bowl. I don't think we will, but I mean, anything can happen. Indiana has a great half against Notre Dame. They could pull off the upset. Tennessee could have a good half against Ohio State and they could have the upset. There's going to be at least one or two upsets in the college football playoff, but again, I don't know, really the only three teams that can win it all is Georgia, Oregon, and Texas. Those are really the only three. And then if you had wild card teams on the outside, maybe Ohio State and Notre Dame as wild card, way, way, way down there. If Georgia and Texas and Oregon had injuries or something happened, then if they got eliminated, then maybe Ohio State, Notre Dame after those other teams got eliminated. But as long as Georgia, Texas, and Oregon are in it, I highly doubt anyone is going to win it besides those three teams. So, and again, if Oregon wants to win it all, they would have to beat Ohio State if they beat Tennessee, right? And we play them at the Rose Bowl. Then we would have to play Texas, and then we would have to play Georgia for the Natty. So we have the hardest path out of any team. So, but again, I wouldn't want it any other way. If we have to prove, that we have to be able to get it done, what a better way to be able to beat Ohio State, one of the best, then Texas, and then Georgia. I mean, it would be very, very difficult. But again, if you want to be champion, you have to be the best. You have to beat the best, especially with the soft schedule for next year. So, there definitely is a chance to lose, against Ohio State, against Texas for sure, to make it to the Natty. Otherwise, if we don't beat Texas, then you're going to get Texas and Georgia again in a rematch. But I would rather beat Ohio State, beat Texas, whether it be by 1, 2, or 3, I don't care, and then play Georgia in the Natty and beat them. That's what I would want. But, with Georgia's quarterback, with Beck being injured, who knows how far Georgia will go. We'll see. We assume that even with injuries and their backup, they were able to beat Texas. So, and again, all three teams got really good defense, Texas, Georgia, and Oregon. So we'll see where it goes, including Ohio State and Notre Dame too. But it'll be very interesting. 1st down and 10 for the Rams. There we go. Blake Corum with the catch. 1st down, Rams. Who are the trains? No, because they play in the first round. We play in the Rose Bowl. There is no more games at home when you're in the college football playoff. It's all bowl game related for money. So there is no more games at Autzen. So, yeah. Where is Kyron? Where's Cooper Kupp? Where's my fantasy points, damn it? Stafford? That's not Cooper Kupp. What is that? Second down and 1, shotgun set for Stafford in this low-scoring affair. Corum again. That's not Kyron Williams. What are the fantasy gods doing to us, Reflect? My God. I mean, it's one thing for me to get the short end of the stick and get shit on all year with, just bad luck, bad injuries, and that, but I don't expect it to happen to you. Not at this point when you're, trying to win the chip, trying to make it, to the next round. Luckily, we still have time left for him to get into the end zone. But it's he needs to be in the game. Why the hell is Blake Corum in the game? What the hell is going on here? Shotgun set. Pump fake. Floater. Tipped and incomplete. Hopefully he's not hurt. I'm looking at all the players right now. Oh, look, Cooper Kupp with a 0. That's exciting. Now, Kyron's at a 6.3. There's no injury designation. But Debo's only got 4.9. And then I got 5.1 out of Jennings and 0 out of Kupp. And I got a bajillion receivers on my bench. Looks like I chose wrong, unless things really turned around quickly. Corum again. Stafford passes short left to Puka Nacua for 7 yards, 4th down and 1. Unbelievable. How does Cooper Kupp not have a catch yet? This is insane. Big hit there. Stafford up the middle for 2 yards. 1st down, Rams. Come on, baby. Oh, my. I mean, I would expect a performance like this if I was watching like the Jags and the Giants, but not the fucking Rams and Niners. Golly. It's like I'm watching the Jags and Giants, but just they got different names on the screen. Hawks are going to have a good chance to beat Green Bay at home. The crowd is going to be the loudest all year because they know what's on the line. So, and Green Bay has been reeling a little bit as of late. So I feel like it definitely is a winnable game. Stafford. There's Kyren. Jesus. We're at 103, 97 to go. Like, sub, donate, comment, share. If you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. How many more do we need to get to 20? We are at, 12 or 13? 7 or 8. 7 more to go. Be able to hit the goal. Hopefully we'll get a little spike of people to come in and hang out. Second down and 5. And in motion. And a flag on the play. Pass short to Puka. 13 yards. That's not Cooper Kupp, damn it. Yeah, I think Seattle is going to win. I think they have a very, very good chance. Obviously they want to make sure they have that, split offense, good running, good throwing, make sure you have that balanced offense. But really it's going to come down to the Seattle defense if they win, as well as the offensive line play. Nice yak yards there for Puka. That'll help Chief will Chief, and Chief will Chief alone. Four-yard gain for Kyren. Second down and 6 on the San Francisco 18. Here you go. Reflect. Here's your opportunity. Because it's going to more than likely be one of 3 players, Kyren, Puka, or Cooper Kupp. And obviously we know Tutu Atwell and Demarcus Robinson can always steal a couple touchdowns away from the big names, but we'll find out. I mean, even though I'm sitting at a 0 with Cooper Kupp, I almost would rather have Kyren score for you to give you those points. So obviously, you need those more than I do, obviously, trying to be able to advance to the championship. So come on, baby. Third down and 5 on the San Francisco 17. Kyren up the middle. There we go. 6 yards. Keep banging away. First down and 10 on the San Francisco 11. They're going to get points, and it's not just a field goal. They will get a tutty, but who's getting in the end zone? Touchdown allowed on last 13 red zone drives, longest streak since 2020, this Niner defense. But now you need that offensive line to step up for the Rams so that they have enough time to be able to get the ball to the receivers if it doesn't go to Kyren. Kyren. I like what I'm seeing. There you go. End of the third quarter on 2nd down and 3 on the San Francisco 4. So at this point, it sounds like, Reflect is going to get the Kyren touchdown, because at this point you can just hand it off, a couple times, if not the next play, and he should be able to get in the end zone. The offensive line should be able to dig deep enough for one play for him to, duck his head and get in there. And then that'll give them that 10-6 lead and give him some points. So yeah, Indiana coach didn't deserve it. Great year, but not over Oregon. So you're going to give it to a team that's got multiple losses over a guy that has no losses and finished the regular season as the only team undefeated and won the Big Ten in the very first year? Please. I mean, 3-9 to 11-1 is great, but I mean, Dan Lanning is the best coach, not only in the Big Ten this year, but in college football, period. I mean, there's no debate. 12-0, 13-0, first time coming to the division, which makes a lot of people mad. I get it, but that's what you guys wanted. You guys wanted to add us on, and you guys wanted to make it this super conference. We were just fine. Battling it out in the Pac-12 and representing the Pac-12, but again, Big Ten wanted this, and now they're going to, that you reap what you sow. If you thought it was easy, for Ohio State all these years, shit. If we were in this division having a cake schedule every year like Ohio State, we could have done the same shit, but again, the difference is Dan Lanning. With Mario Cristobal, we're probably not undefeated. We probably lose against Ohio State and maybe even another matchup. So that was good. Mario Cristobal goes to his alma mater, and he can have fun there, and we get the best coach in college football. Yeah, but again, 3-9 to 11-1 is a drastic turnaround for sure. But not better than Dan Lanning, though. Especially how he looked the first 2 weeks of the season, and then to be able to turn that around with injuries and a poor offensive line play to where we're at today. But again, the mission isn't over. If we don't win the Natty, then it's all for nothing. We have to get there and we have to win. So. All right, end of the third quarter. Let's see if the Rams can punch this in for Reflect to get him some fantasy points. Unbelievable. Cooper Kupp with a 0. I love that. I love getting zeros. All right, well, Kyren's at 8.6, so if you end up getting the tutty with him, then that's going to be, exactly where you need to be with him. Of course, you would want him to be 20 or higher, but considering that no one has fucking points today, including Cooper Kupp with a 0, I think you're going to end up taking 14, 15, 16, 17. That's going to be a win for any position. And so we'll find out if he ends up getting in the end zone here. Yeah, but we were in the Pac-12 going to the Big Ten, though. Stafford with the keeper. Wow. Flag on the play. Offensive holding. Christ. Yeah, why did you get Kyron's touch right there? That was stupid. And then you got a hold on top of it. Unbelievable. Christ. Can I get some points for reflect, please? Come on. Come on, Davis Allen. Jeez Louise. First game in series history with no tutties in the first 3 quarters and 152 meetings. Well, like, why do they have to wait to have the shit the bed game the first week of the playoffs in fantasy? Really? Like, this is, we didn't need a Jags-Giants kind of score in the fantasy playoffs. And they say, it is luck in the fantasy playoff round. It definitely looks like it. Stafford steps up, check down, Puka, of course. 3rd down and 4 on the San Francisco 5. Too many outside variables, man, making me go crazy. Like I'm not even in the championship and I'm going crazy. Frustrating. 3rd down and 4. Who do you go to here? Kyron right up the gut on a draw with 4 wide. Stafford. Nope. Avoids a sack lunch. Avoids another sack lunch. Pump fake, pump fake, pump fake. End zone. Incomplete flag on the play. Probably a hold on the O-line. Fuck. Shit. Havenstein. Jesus Christ. Two fouls. Both on the offense? Golly. No. We're just going to have a field goal party? No points for anybody? Wow. It's a field goal party. Field goal is good. This is disgusting. You kidding me? 6-6. Man, unbelievable. Well, hopefully Kyron can get you at least the double digits if he's not going to get in the end zone, considering all this crap that we've seen in this game so far. But it really looks like it's only going to affect maybe Shep because he's got Purdy and Kittle. They don't connect and get in the end zone. He's going to lose to Zini just based off tonight. There's no chance. And again, you can have a great year and go 8-6 in fantasy or better or, whatever your record is. But, you end up playing multiple players in a game and it ends up being a shit game for weather or just, it's bad luck for this type of game and your season's over. Just like that. Yeah. You guys are at 118 and 115, but you still have a chance to get over 10. And your lineup is much stronger, but we'll find out, if those guys step up. I mean, even Nico and CD with red matchups, we know they can still get it. And again, really the only way I can see, Double E beating you, Lamar is going to have to go off for like a 40 or 50 point game. And if he does that, that'll, take care of Debo and anybody else that has like maybe a low scoring matchup. So, but if you don't get a 35, 40, 45, 50 out of Lamar, I don't think it's going to happen. But who knows? We'll see. And then Shep now is a 10-point underdog. Purdy's at 4.98. Kittle's at 8.2, so that's not too bad. But again, in the fantasy playoffs, you want to be over 10 on every spot. And then obviously, certain spots you want to be closer to 20 and above if you can. 15 at the very least if you can get there, but yeah, Lamar could eat. Like, depending on how big Lamar's game is, could be the difference in your guys' matchup. Possibly. All right, 6-6. Hopefully we get at least a touchdown. But I appreciate all the individuals came through to hang out, and obviously the ones that came through to show love and support. We were hoping for a little bit more action, but sometimes this is just the way that the cookie crumbles. Oh, he'll know. He'll find out. I mean, him already looking at the numbers right now, he already feels that he lost. Especially with low numbers with Purdy and Kittle. He needed Purdy to hit 20 to 30, and he needed Kittle to get 15 or 20, especially with that machine, that Panini machine that we know. And there's a reason why she scored the most points, in the league, even though she didn't have the best record. She got those top-end tier players. There's Debo. Flag on the play. Of course it's a flag. We're at 103.97 to go. What a sloppy game with a lot of penalties here. I mean, just the fact that these two teams are playing like this, they both deserve not to make the playoffs. Give it to Seattle. Let Seattle cook. Let them go. 6-6? Come on. First down and 20. I mean, they're going to have to start dishing out points for first downs. This is ugly. Shotgun set. Purdy. Tipped. Incomplete. Gosh. Ugly. Purdy passing complete to Debo, of course. Third down and 20. Shotgun set. Purdy. Debo. Why are you going to Debo? Go to Juwan Jennings, damn it. $16-yard gain for Lorendo. Fourth down and 4 on the San Fran 26. Good defense there by the Rams. Nice effective draw play there. You grab that 16 yards, but you're at 4th and 4 now. You got to punt. going to set the record for like the most punts in 2024 in a game. Man, awesome. 5.1. Well, I wanted to be able to come out with a decent game. Cooper Kupp with a 0 at my flex. That's fun. Jauan Jennings with a 5.1. Awesome. Yeah. Damn, another flag. Ugly. Didn't realize we were doing Giants-Jags all over again. Like, can we get a goddamn touchdown? Fuck. I mean, I was joking about being a 9-6 game, but it actually might end up being 9-6 final. Terrible. Come on. I don't really think they're a terrible team. I think they're an injured team. It's just if you have the most injuries, then you're not going to be the same team that you normally are. You know, and it's not just like average or below average players that are injured. It's like all of the stars. So, and with that being said, they're right there with the Rams and the Hawks. It's not like they have a 2 wins right now or 3 wins. I mean, they're 6-7. They win this game, they have the same record as the Rams, and the Rams could be a playoff team. So, that's what happens. Sometimes the NFC West and the NFC South isn't going to be that great. Sometimes you're only going to have one team that makes it, in the division. So, primetime games of, I don't know. It just seems like a lot of them end up being, kind of shitty. Like the ones that we think that are going to be terrible, end up being good. And then the ones that we think that are going to be good end up being terrible. And obviously we know Thursday nights normally are worse than Sunday or Monday. Sunday or Mondays typically are better than Thursday. Thursday is typically like shit the bed. And apparently they got the memo today. But I mean, it could be a hell of a lot more, worse from the Niners than 6-7 with all these injuries. Yeah, we've had a few. Oh, Puka Nacua. 51 yards. Of course it's not Cooper Kupp. Well, I guess Chief O'Chief will be happy. Awesome. Third time with no catches through 3 quarters. Awesome. Glad I put him at my flex today. Thanks, Cooper. Thanks, Rams. Thanks, Weather. Appreciate it. As if I needed another sign for me not to do this anymore. Nice catch by Puka. First down, Rams. Ooh, Kyren Williams for 8 yards. Is this where you're going to get your touchdown here? Reflect, this could be it. I mean, there's still time to get a touchdown or two with a particular player like a Kyren, but you got to score quick. Seven receptions for 97 yards. At least Puka's having a decent game now. And there's Kyren. Nice little jump cut and another jump cut. Very athletic player there, Kyren Williams. 2nd down and 2 on the San Francisco 8. Just keep giving it to Kyren. Yeah. But the Bucks-Falcons game, I got cheated with the Bucky Irving face mask no call. So, it was a good game, but I got cheated. But that's just how it goes, right? Short game of nothing by Kyren. 3rd down and 2. Yeah, Pittsburgh and Cleveland. Yeah, Green Bay and the Lions. We got a couple. And then a pass short right to Kyren for no gain. 4th down and 2. Golly. This is what happens when you don't give the ball to Cooper Kupp at all. You got to be able to mix it up a little bit so that way that the opportunities are going to be open for a guy like Kyren. But I guess it's the Kyren Puka show. Great defense there by Fred Warner. He said, not today. I was joking at the beginning of the game of having a 9-6 game, and here we are. I guess that ESP and that sports god said, well, you said you wanted it. I was joking. I didn't really want a 9-6 game, but here we go. Field goal up and good. And exactly what I said, that's what we get. I can't say things like that anymore. Unbelievable. 9-6? Kyren's got to be over double digits now, so I know it's not 15 or 20, but at least he's over 10 now, I would assume. Field goal is good. 10.4. Not exactly, what you want. Pretty much like the bare bones number that you want out of your running back when it's not a good day. 10 or more, It's like as long as you're at the double digit number, and then there's still an opportunity, hopefully, to get that number, up to 15 to 17, regardless if he scores a tutty or not. And you got Purdy and Kittle combining for 13. That ain't going to get it done for Shep against Zini. Golly, 9-6. I was joking. I didn't want a 9-6 game. Sports gods was like, oh, Doggy Dog says he wants 9-6. Let's give it to him. Brutal. Man, oh, man. Oh. Brutal. 9-6. I was joking. All right, 9:28 left, but we won't get a 9-6 final. And it's like, if they want to give us this fucking field goal party, fine, but we got to get at least one touchdown between two teams. I'm hoping we get a touchdown for both before the game is up. That would be nice. So that way the final will be like 16-13, something of that nature. So. Can't believe we're, just about to get into 2025. Wild. Where is the year gone? It's gone by quick. Yeah. Christmas just right around the corner. All right, let's pray to the sports gods that we get the most exciting 9:28 left of the fourth quarter in this game that we can get, because it really has been underwhelming, to say the least. I mean, the rain was the factor in the first half. What's the excuse in the third quarter? Just the defenses were that much better? I mean, the rain stopped. What's the excuse for that third quarter? What's the excuse of the fourth quarter? Come on. Let's go. Debo coming out of the end zone. Lions, Eagles, Super Bowl contenders. Everyone else, Just playoffs. That's it. But if there were teams that were most likely to win a playoff game, probably would be Seattle, Minnesota, and Green Bay. And then after that, maybe Tampa, maybe. But our defense stinks right now. Short gain by Guerrero. Oh, short to the middle to Ricky Pearsall. Got a Ricky Pearsall sighting. It's like they got all their points in against Buffalo and decided, hey, we scored enough. Shows you one team that has defense and the team that doesn't. Shows you Buffalo. That's going to be Buffalo's bugaboo. Their defense is a little sus. Purdy. There's Ricky. First down. Niners. Bang, bang, Niner gang. Move the trains. Yeah, Green Bay could. But you don't know how they're going to play against those teams, though. Saints and Bears should be easy wins, even though, and then Seahawks Vikings will be difficult. Where's the Minnesota game being played for Green Bay? Is that in Minnesota or in Green Bay? Because Green Bay could lose to the Hawks and then win the rest of the three if that Green Bay Viking game is in Green Bay. But if it's in Minnesota, it'd be much harder. But again, if they have Jordan Love, anything is possible. We've seen the good, the bad, and the ugly out of Jordan Love, right? Purdy to Kittle for 9 yards. First down, Niners. There you go, Kittle. Move the chains. He says, look at me. I got a completion. It's in Minnesota. Oh, wow. Yeah. So they could potentially lose to Seattle and Minnesota and then rack up 2 wins at the end. Yeah, there's a chance that, it's not often you're going to get 3 teams coming out of a division, but same situation there in the AFC West with the Chiefs, Chargers, and the Broncos. Purdy going deep and complete. I'm actually kind of surprised that we haven't had a tipped interception. Like, where are the secondary members to make that diving pick? Like, we've had a lot of tipped, footballs, but no secondary member has been able to come down with it for the Niners or the Rams. That's a little shocking. Ricky trying to go up and get it, but better hang time there by the Rams and the secondary. Guerrero right up the middle, fighting for some extra yards. 10-yard gain. First down, Niners. First down and 10 on the LA 33, 6:40 left in a field goal party matchup, which is 9-6 Los Angeles. Guerrero left guard. No gain. Where are you going? Nowhere. Second down and 10. Purdy going long, going deep, intercepted. There's the pick. You know, we were just talking about we haven't seen any tipped interceptions all game. That wasn't a tipped interception, but we talk about interceptions and then boom, we get one a couple minutes later. Esp. Nice job. Not good for Shep and Brock Purdy. His chances of beating Zini might have just ended right there. That's rough. Worst possible time to throw a pick there. But again, you kind of, like when you watch football long enough, like you know it's coming. You know, it's like they have both been running the football a lot, you know, but again, they're, you know, getting to a point where they're, you know, feeling that they need to make up for lost time. And, you know, those deep balls, at some point or another, you would think, you know, Stafford and Purdy are going to get picked at some point, you know, and there it was. Worst possible timing ever. Brock. Well, I guess I'm glad I'm not in the fantasy championship right now because I would be losing my shit. So, but again, you know, it's like when it rains, it pours, and it looks like the same type of thing is going to continue to happen to not only me, but to some of y'all as well. So, but we'll find out how the rest of the, you know, teams and players step up. And I pray that we don't get any more games this week like this, because nobody deserves to work their ass off to be able to make the fantasy playoffs and then to fucking lose, you know, just because, you know, you got 2 or 3 guys on one team that end up just having the worst game of the fucking season. You know, defenses have played great in this game, but, you know, again, that only helps you if you are playing Rams D or Niners D. Yeah. Yeah, but again, if you're going to win the chip, you know, again, you got to be able to be the one that beats her, because, you know, Elliott might not be able to beat you, but you have the best chance against Zini, not Shep. So, you know, based off your roster and players, even if you are going with Kyler this week over, you know, going over, you know, Kyler over Jalen, but Jalen's going against Pittsburgh's D with TJ Watt, so I understand why you're going that route. You got to roll the dice and just hope Kyler has that Kyler game and he doesn't shit the bed like Brock Purdy today. You know, but again, you and Zini have the best rosters at this point. So for Shep and E to be able to beat you guys, they would have to have a special week to do it. And if you don't have that special week, you got no chance. Short gain there by the Rams. 9-6 LA. 2-2 Atwell says, I'll grab that. Second down and 4, and this would play into the hands at some point for Kyron, you would assume. And still no catches for Cooper Kupp. Unbelievable. The sports gods were like, hey, if you had any second doubts of playing fantasy next year, we're going to end it here tonight. Okay? You know, we're going to shit on you all year, every game, including this one. Okay, I get the message. But you better have the Oregon Ducks winning it all, sports gods. If you're going to make me suffer like this at one of my favorite things to do, and I have to walk away next year, then I better have a good feeling at the end of the year with the Oregon Ducks. Then that'll be the only thing that makes up for it. Cooper Kupp in motion. Hand off. Kyron. There you go. More fantasy points for you. Yeah, but even with that being said, with the Eagles, right? Pittsburgh's never beaten them in Philadelphia. So even though that's a tough defensive matchup, it's still possible that Hurts gets to 20 points against Pittsburgh. Because obviously Jalen is more trustworthy than Kyler, right? Because we obviously know Marvin Harrison Jr. has been a non-factor all year. James Conner has been pretty good for them, and I know Kyler can get you some points with his legs as well, which he might have to in his matchup this weekend, but there's Stafford. But again, also, Jalen could end up shitting the bed against Pittsburgh and throwing up an 8. So it is kind of a conundrum, that you're in. It's like you want to be able to get 17 or more. Who do you trust more to get 17 or more? Kyler in an easier matchup, even though he can shit the bed against a team that he should score against, or going with the better quarterback, Jalen, against a really tough defense. But again, they've never beaten them in Philly. Like, if you go back and look at, like, the records, like, I don't know how many years it's been, like 40, 50 years. It's kind of a crazy number. And we know that game could go either way. And obviously those are two teams that could make a Super Bowl push, right? Kind of a tough decision, but yeah, sports gods need something good for me in the Ducks and the Mariners. Absolutely. You'll still think about it, though. You got to go back and look at every single quarterback that has played the Steelers this year and look at the point totals. That's what I would do. Look at every single quarterback that's played Pittsburgh and see if any quarterback has had a good, week against them, home or on the road. And then maybe that'll be, you can, look at your, analysis and see that if you want to take a chance and roll the dice with Jalen instead of going Kyler. But obviously that's up to you. There's Kyron. Nice spin move. There you go. First down, Rams. There's some more points for you. But that's what I do. Whenever I'm in a kind of a conundrum or I'm like wondering, I always look, at okay, this is tough, but let me go back and look at every quarterback's point totals against the Steelers this year. And then if there's enough positive point totals of, 17 or higher, then, you may want to, compare, and then you can kind of look. So. Yeah, I know you look too, because you go deeper in the stat line, just like I do, and most people don't. It's all about stats and analytics. Paisley's in the room now. He says, "I miss Dad." There's Kyron. Let's get Kyron in the end zone for reflect here. I mean, I'm not going to get anything. Now he's at 12.5, but if you get the touchdown, then that's exactly what you thought he was going to get, around that number, right? Around 17, 18, 19, 20. So. Yeah, and it hurts, push, getting down to the 1 yard line, right? An opportunity, to get some, not only passing touchdowns, but rushing touchdowns. Well, the Niners aren't going to win, Captain. I mean, the dream of the Niners winning, this matchup to help your Hawks isn't going to happen. So, I mean, they're already up 3. They're bleeding the clock down. They can't stop. The game's over. The Rams won. So you just got to worry about yourselves and just hopefully the Hawks can put their head down, beat the shit out of the Green Bay Packers, and then continue to win the rest of the way. But, I mean, the only way that the Niners are going to come back and win this is with the pick 6, or a fumble for a touchdown. That's the only way. And the chances of that happening are probably slim to none. Probably less than 1%. Because, again, if they can just hand the ball off the rest of the way, that's what they're going to want to do to bleed the clock out. So, yeah, I'm a nerd number kind of guy too. It's all about analytics, stats. And again, that's, I think, the reason why we think very similar. And typically we have the same type of success in fantasy besides me this year, is that we go deeper and we read more and we go in the stats and the analytics deeper than anybody else, and then I take it to a whole nother level by grabbing more players than everyone else, and working the wire harder than anyone else. But sometimes it leads to a championship and sometimes it doesn't, But again, it's all about looking at, home and away, turf, grass, night, day, how they do against certain teams, and how other teams have done, quarterbacks have done. But unbelievable that Cooper Kupp hasn't even gotten a jet sweep reverse like that. If Cooper Kupp has had nothing up to this point, wouldn't you just just to make sure that you can get that guy something, that you would at least have one play designed for him? Like, do you really hate Cooper Kupp that much that he's your wide receiver too now, and then everything has to go through Kyren and Puka? Really? Like, you can't just give him one screen pass catch for 2 yards, just at least give him something so he doesn't have a 0? Apparently not. I guess I'm just going to end with a 0. So thank God I'm not in the fantasy playoffs, because if I was right now, you would be hearing me rifle off about 100 swear words back to back to back to back to back to back. So good thing I'm not in it. Yeah, this is probably the most disappointing game of the season. You know, it really felt like we were watching Jags-Giants, which I still would have watched. And, you know, there's enough firepower out there, you know, to have made something happen. And obviously the rain affected the first half, but what was the excuse in the third and fourth quarter? Yeah, and how do you get 0 with Reed? Unbelievable. Like, the guy's your best wide receiver. Get him the ball, you know, but that's why I feel like this NFL year is literally the Stranger Things season 5 upside down. I have had so many weird things that never happen that have happened this year. And the things that normally don't happen this year. Like, I honestly feel this is like the weirdest year in the NFL based on how things have happened, the outcomes, and also weird things, you know, with the referees calling things, not calling things. It's been, and I'm not just speaking of Chief Will Chief and his Chiefs, in general. Like, a lot of weird stuff has happened this year. Chief Will Chief with $1. Stacks on stacks. Racks on racks, little Cactus Jack. Bang, bang. Appreciate you. At least Puka Nacua got you some points in fantasy. So at least you and Kyren, or Reflect, Chief Will Chief and Reflect, at least they can be happy, but me and Shep got the short end of the stick, so. Yeah, I mean, I haven't fucking streamed in 2 days, you know, because I didn't have anything really worth doing. You know, I didn't really want to do NHL or college hoops with Duke with a shitty matchup or the NBA. So I've been waiting to work for 2 days. I didn't work, and it's kind of funny. At the beginning of the game, I joked that we could have like a 9-6 game, like some kind of field goal party. I didn't literally mean it, but I guess the sports gods take everything I say to heart, and we literally have a 9-6 game. But it won't end 9-6, though. The best part of the game so far, the commercial. With that NFL banger. Let me know what you want to do for a photo or photos. We can do some food at the end of the stream if you want to do that. I was thinking that would be a good way to end the stream. Do food for like 5 minutes, you know, 5-10 minutes, and then end it. I mean, I gotta be able to be, you know. Again, it's like I already decided that I was going to walk away from fantasy, and then every single week since then, you know, since like a month ago, it's like it's gotten worse and worse and worse. Like, nothing has gotten better. Like, everything, like even though technically I won last week, Megan didn't even play, and she got that like 60-point game out of Allen and had 2 guys she didn't switch, and then another guy that, you know, that by default that was left in. So I take it as a loss. I didn't win last week. I lost. You know, I don't know why she didn't, you know, change her lineup. You know, but again, I lost, you know, even though it says I won. But when you don't play 2 players and you have another guy that you just left in there, it's like, you know, I don't consider that, ooh, look at me. The fantasy gods did me right and I won. No, it's just like, you know, it was almost like injury to insult. Like, she didn't even play and she beat me. She didn't even play. And she had like 2 guys that didn't even get anything, who got zeros that like had bye weeks that didn't even play. Like a kicker that wasn't even the regular kicker anymore. Right. And I still lost. But that's fantasy for you, right? So, yeah, again, it's not going to be easy. Seattle needs to win because it's going to come down to you or the Rams. I mean, and I kind of felt that, like, you know, the Niners and the Cardinals are going to try like hell. They're going to fight like hell, but they're not in the same position as the Hawks and the Rams this year. Just like, you know, the Saints and the Panthers have been playing better ball as of late, but they dug themselves too much of a hole where the Saints and Panthers might catch the Falcons, but you're not going to catch Tampa. And even though our defense stinks, we can still win the division and then get embarrassed in the playoffs. So, what kind of food do you want to be able to do, Chief Will Chief? You want to do breakfast food? But while we wait for the game to come back on, let's hook up Chief O'Chief with a Jamal Charles, one of my favorite players at running back in the day. I mean, hell, even Larry Johnson was fun to watch. And we're not talking about Grandmama. Appreciate you. Like, sub, donate, comment, share. If you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. Help us get as close to 20 as possible. Yeah. I mean, like I said, after your injuries, with Puka and A.J. Brown, I mean, the Falcons, when they were hot, right, and actually getting touchdown passes, which Cousins hasn't in like a month, right? But when he was balling, and you had Mooney and the nice duo there, right, with Drake London and Mooney, it was working for you. Yeah, they were trying to say they're from overseas, from another foreign country and whatnot. But they've been saying that for like the last week there on the East Coast. And then on the West Coast, we had some military out here in Oregon that saw some unusual vehicles. It wasn't just, drone, kind of UFO type stuff. So interesting. We're not alone. 2nd down and 7. Stafford, give it to Kyron for reflect. Anything that you can get will help. But I love playing fantasy and getting a 0. Nothing makes me happier than playing fantasy and getting a 0, besides getting a guy that I put in there and he gets hurt in the first quarter. I love it. I love playing Cooper Kupp and getting a 0. I love playing Jennings and getting a 5.1 when I got Downs, Thielen, Shakir, Andrews, and Mike Evans that I could have played. Fucking A, man. I might have to step away from fantasy forever after this year. Unless the Ducks win the championship. If the Ducks win the Natty, then all is forgiven in this crazy year of football. But I'm still going to, even if the Ducks win, I'm not playing fantasy next year. Not happening. But you might see me slam a bottle of victory booze if the Ducks win, though, like some Fireball or something, But man, this one has tugged at my heartstrings and made me fucking lose all my hair. I've never played in a year like this, and I don't wish a year like this for anyone in the future. Like to suck all the fun out of something that I love with a passion to the point where I don't want to play. Like that, it's bad if it gets to a point where I love this shit. I mean, I almost made 200 fucking moves and I'm not even in the playoffs. I love this shit and I don't want to play next year. Hell, maybe not ever. I don't know if I could go through another year like this next year or the year after. I mean, if I had this happen to me next year, then I would never play again. It just wouldn't happen. I'm too competitive. I put too much time, effort, energy into reading and film study and then clicking on all the names, spying on all your guys' fucking players and teams to be what? What, with 4 or 5 wins? Fuck out of here. Insane. It's a field goal party. I was joking, sports gods. They took it literal. 12-6 Rams. So now you got 18 seconds to score a touchdown, but I mean, if you're the Niners, you just have to go deep, right? And then you have to pray that you get a PI call to be able to get the yardage. Or if it just so happens Jauan Jennings catches the goddamn ball, right? And then that gives you a chance. But you probably have a better chance of Purdy throwing a pick because they know that you're throwing the ball, right? So another -2 for Brock Purdy coming up here shortly for Shep, more than likely. Because you just assume that, unless they end up doing like a hook and ladder, and just going towards the sidelines and whatnot. But, I would assume there's going to have to be at least one throw of 30 or more yards to be able to get themselves in a position to get close. So. Yeah. But I mean, definitively, do you think that you actually, because if you've seen a UFO, you know you saw it. You know, like I said, you see, like if you watch any UFO program or if you watch anything, like the way that they move in the sky from one location to the next in the air is not something that we have technology for. When you see a plane at night or during the day, they're doing this. And you see it, right? And some are moving a little bit faster, right? But you can't go from here to there in literally a half second and then back to here and then up and disappear. That's when you know you've seen something. When on one part of the sky, you see something, it goes all the way over to the another side and then goes back and then goes up and disappears and then it's gone. Like there is no technology that exists that does that, right? That at least that's ours, you know, there's some kind of UFO technology. Flag on the play. But again, I saw mine up in the sky, and I only saw it for maybe 20 seconds, 25. My dad saw one like close, like over. My dad lives out in the middle of nowhere near the mountains, and so when they were looking up, it was like above them, but not too high, and then it blacked out the stars. So then, that's why my dad knows that he saw the ship, because you see the stars, you look up, you don't see the stars, and then you see them again after it passed over you, so. And like I said, my dad is such a low key, kind of quiet guy, for him to feel weird and nervous and kind of feel afraid like a month after, that's not who my dad is, so for him to, kind of be weirded out by it, and of course that, these, things are observing, unless it's us from the future coming back, and observing us and whatnot. But I think the fear, for my dad, because my dad is always skeptical, as an older OG, but again, if you have like a thing that happens to you personally, then, what are you supposed to think? Play is blown dead. But I think for him, I think it was the first time in his life that he finally was like, we're not alone, and like they have the ability to like end us, like if there's any type of technology that they have, like you always see like War of the Worlds, and you see all these like alien movies where they come and try to pretty much exterminate the humans and whatnot by any means necessary, right? But I think that was like probably my dad's fear, that not only are they observing, but maybe it was something where he wasn't a believer and now he is, and it scared him. I don't think I've seen my dad scared ever in my life. I think I've seen my dad cry once when my grandma died, and that was it. Like my dad doesn't cry in front of people, he doesn't get scared. He's like a mountain man, like a hunter, fisher, trapper kind of guy, We're not alone. First down and 10. Shotgun set. Purdy. Going deep. Intermediate to Pearsall. Incomplete. Oh, it's rolling. You know what time it is? Time for a sack lunch. Yum, 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 yum. And the Niners lost. The Niners are going to lose. I mean, it's not over till it's over. You can always get a Hail Mary, but I don't think the Niners are really known for Hail Marys to get in the end zone. Terrible blocking up front. And that's it. It's 12 noon. You know what time it is? Time for a sack lunch. That was literally the ugliest football game that I've seen. I thank you guys so much for hanging out and watching with me and supporting. But that was probably the worst football game I've seen in a long time. Like I obviously I'm going to have fun talking and hanging out with you guys and whatnot, but 12-6, I mean, this is an appropriate score, if we're watching the Saints and the Giants, or if we're watching the Jags and the Giants, but not the fucking Rams and the Niners. Wow. And there goes Shep's chances of beating Zini by starting Kittle and Brock Purdy. You let the Niners control, your destiny for the whole season to get to the playoffs. But if you played Niner players today, Not looking too hot. Or you could be me and have Cooper Kupp with a 0. How fun is that, right? Isn't that fun? Like we draft guys, they've been injured all year, then you finally get a chance to use them regardless if you're in the fantasy playoffs or not, and then you get a 0. How fun is that? That really makes me want to play fantasy again, getting a 0 with a Cooper Kupp. I mean, if Cooper Kupp is some jobber player, but Cooper Kupp, out of all people, 0? Man, I hope I have the love for fantasy in the future. I hope. I pray, because it's one of my favorite things to do. But every single week, something else happens for the sports gods to give me like a bitch slap and say, hey, you thought you wanted to play fantasy next year? Nope, not happening. We're going to make it miserable for you. And you are not playing next year. Okay, I get it. I already decided that I wasn't going to play anymore, And then they just have to continue either giving me 0s, or getting guys injured in the first quarter. I get it if you don't want me to play anymore. Fuck. Yeah. Goodbye, Shep. Nice knowing you. But again, no one was going to beat Zini besides you anyway. So there it goes. My ESP is rarely wrong. Most of the time, my predictions aren't going to be 100%. But again, I told y'all it was going to be Zini and Reflect. It's going to be Zini and Reflect. Reflect will be the underdog, and he knows it. But you have the only team that has a chance to do it. With her beast roster. You have a beast roster as well. But we'll see where it goes. Dude, I didn't stream for 2 games to get a field goal party. And I really wanted to stream, but we didn't really have anything to do. There wasn't really anything worth doing for NBA since we're doing this dumbass tournament during the regular season. Like, the ratings are already terrible as it is. Like, doing an in-season tournament, that's supposed to, get people excited? No, it makes the product even worse. Boo! Boo, NBA! Boo, fantasy gods on my fantasy team! Boo! All right, we're going to do food. Damn it. I've never had the fantasy gods or the sports gods try to relay so many messages, to me. But apparently they don't want me to play next year, maybe ever. But again, I guess if the Ducks and the Mariners start winning championships, it'll be worth it for me. There you go. At least something going my way. But will they win? That's the question. They're up 2-0 now, but will they win? Or at the end of the night, is it going to be 3-2 loss? You never know. Chief with a $5. Yeah, everyone's going to feel bad for the Niners and everything else. Stacks on stacks, racks on racks, little Cactus Jack, bang, bang. But, again, they've had their moment. So some people are happy about this. And it's okay to have a little bit of joy, if you're the Rams or the Hawks or the Cardinals or any other, the Niners have been the bully, for many, many years. And, being in the NFC Championship game, Super Bowl, they weren't ever good enough to win the Super Bowl because they don't have a Joe Montana, Steve Young, and that's what you're going to need. Not a Colin Kaepernick, not a Brock Purdy. That's not fucking good enough. You're going to need someone better. But, that's just how it goes. Stacks on stacks, racks on racks, little Cactus Jack, bang, bang, $5. Holla. Thank you. Yeah, it's karma. Sports karma, right? Doing all that, and when people want to point out when someone sucks and they don't want to actually accept it, right? And then they have something and then they delete it. Yeah, there you go. Sports gods know. There's little messages that are being relayed to all of us. You just have to pay attention. Karma is real. You just have to open your eyes and read the lines, read the signs, and read in between the lines, baby. I mean, the only thing that's going to make my fantasy season better, this game tonight better, might only be food. I mean, that might literally be the only thing. For real, though. And also, too, I think this year sports has taught us expect the unexpected. And normally, we always do, but I feel like this year we've had more strange outcomes and things than ever. I have never, ever seen so many strange things happen, in a year than this. I've never seen anything like this. But again, if the Ducks and Mariners end up being the reason why I have to feel the pain of something that I love and suck at it for a year to get the Ducks to win the Natty or possibly back-to-back and then have the Mariners do well, I guess that's, what we're going to have to do. Debo, give me the ball. Give me the ball. Why? So you can drop it? Yeah, windows closed. And you only usually have a 4 to 5 year window. So once that ends, it's a rebuild, because you're not going to be able to afford everyone. So, it feels like this might be it for the Niners as that powerhouse team. They could still end up being a team that wins maybe 10, 11 games or whatever, but no longer like the front runner to win the NFC every year. Now with the Lions and the Eagles, and then how many other teams that you say above them also. So. Nice job by Kobe Turner. He's been a stud. 2 sack lunches for him. Debo is kind of a cancer, for the team. And, if you're already getting better numbers out of Juwan Jennings and then you have Ayuk or whatever, you can move on from Debo, and then you got Ricky Pearsall in the draft. You don't really need Debo anymore. If you've looked at his numbers, he's had a terrible season. It's not the same type of Debo that we're used to. And, I wish Double E had a better player than that he could put in the lineup. But, that's why it's important to hit the wire, especially at times like this. So that way you don't have to play a guy like Debo. But, hell, Double E could have had my Cooper Kupp in the lineup and got a 0. So, there you go. You just never know how it's going to play out. Whether you have a Debo or a Cooper Kupp, you assume that you're going to get good numbers, and then you look up and you see barely anything or nothing. So, well, and also the Niners are injury prone. Look at every star player that they have. Kittle, injury prone, even though he's had a good year. Debo, injury prone. Ayuk, injury prone. McCaffrey, injury prone. Everyone is injury prone, right? It's like they can't really stay healthy together. So. Burrow, Brown, Chase versus Cleveland. Zini Machini. And this is a player right here with Kobe Turner that is very, very motivated, and he knows it's going to come down to the Hawks or the Rams, not both. And again, you can hear it in the Rams players. This was a must-win game. They cannot lose this game no matter what. You have to make sure you're keeping pace with Seattle. And look at the games that they have. right? You got what? Jets, winnable. Arizona, winnable. Seattle, that's going to be a big one on week 18. That could end up being for the spot. And look at Seattle, Green Bay, Minnesota. The schedule's a little bit tougher than what, obviously the Rams have to deal with. So, but also, too, that the Hawks have been playing better football. So even if they play better competition, that doesn't mean that they can't get the job done against teams like Green Bay, which I think they can. So, yeah, Lions and Bills is going to be money, bro. Yeah, no one wants to see that. Maybe you might be the only one, Matt. But again, sometimes when you end up forcing people to see something, it gets really, really old really, really quick for the people that just don't want to see that. And I'll tell you what, as soon as I see anything on my timeline, even if it ends up being positive, like her visiting the hospital and visiting the kids today, block. I don't want to see any of that. Like, you already ruined it trying to, have that narrative, obviously, to try to gain more followers for the NFL and yourself, that even when something good comes up, up in my newsfeed, nope, block. I don't want it. Sorry. It's like, I get it. You're a good person, but again, I don't want to see that on my timeline. I don't want to see any political shit on my timeline. I don't want to see any hate on my timeline, But at least for them, they haven't been as pushing it down our throats as much as last year. And you know why? Because the Era's tour is over. She's not touring. So there's no reason to show her every single extra shot. Brain knowledge, baby. You just have to understand a lot bigger than you think, right? If they genuinely were like partners together, Tay in the NFL, they would still be showing her just as much, even if she wasn't touring. But have you noticed they barely show her anymore? There's a reason. There's a reason why. No touchdowns. Unbelievable. Crepes, baby. You know it, dude. Yeah. I know, man. Netflix, they better not crash. I mean, you're not going to get as many people as Tyson and Paul, but they better fucking pray that Netflix doesn't fucking freeze up. Same thing when they get to Monday Night Raw, there won't be as many people watching. But we better not have Netflix fucking hitting me with that loading fucking window, that loading little circle, while we have big matches watching on Raw or NFL football where it freezes, where the ball's in the air, but we don't know if he caught it in the end zone. We better not get that. Best part is that if you get one like this, and then there's a sausage right in the middle, so you get the sweet and the savory, and then you got the jelly, and then you also get the syrup on top. And then when you eat it, then you can get the crepe material, kind of like a pancake waffle kind of batter material. And then you bite into that, you get the sweet, and then you get the hot sausage that they put in there right before they give it to you, and then you get the savory on top of that. I mean, it's hard to explain the flavor town that you get, but if you ever have it, it's so much better than a regular crepe. You gotta have the sausage in there too. Just takes it takes something that's a 10 and makes it an 11. It's just amazing. You can always eat the sausage on the side too, for sure. Bacon and the sausage are great, right? But man, inside that crepe though, I know strawberry looks amazing, especially when you look at this and you can look at every little glistening piece. That's when you got an amazing photo, when you feel like you want to bite your phone or your computer screen or your tablet. It's like you can almost taste the photo or the memory, right? And then when you get something up close where it's like you can just, the texture, you can taste it in your mouth. If you've ever had a good memory of a good breakfast somewhere, and then you can just relay that and capture that in a photo. Man, some photos are more undefeated than others, for sure. There we go. We got the one more doll here to get to 110. Thank you, guys. Appreciate you. Stacks on stacks, racks on racks, little cactus jack, bang, bang. No touchdowns in a game, but we get some good food at the end. And I apologize to everyone that shit the bed in fantasy today, including myself. But again, weird year. Expect the unexpected. UFOs on the East Coast and West Coast. Are they really UFOs? Are they drones? Are they ours? Are they from a foreign country? What do we got cooking? I don't know, but it's been a weird year. Anything else that you want to be able to see photo-wise? Chief, you got another food before I go? I'm going to go take Paisley on a long walk. Hopefully we don't get rained on, and then eat a little bit of dinner. If there's anything else that you guys want to see for the people that donated, let me know. Captain with a $5, Cole with $1, Reflect with a $5, Reflect with an 89er. Not a 49er, but an 89er. Captain with a $3, Chief with $1, Chief with a $5, Chief with $1. Anything else from you amazing people? Wow, that's unfair. Tough schedule for you guys. I looked at your guys' schedule too. Not going to be too easy to go through some of the teams for sure. Especially when Oregon doesn't have Ohio State or Michigan, then you know that those are going to go towards another team. All right, let me see. I'm going to figure out what else we can do here food-wise. And my typical brain after breakfast food typically goes to a couple areas, like Mexican food first. That's where my brain goes, like nachos and tacos and everything. And if not that, like burger pizza is like kind of a combo category. But normally, like, I feel like the Mexican food and the breakfast food is like the jump off first. Then we can go to burger, pizza, steaks, and things of that nature. But that's usually where my brain goes. Unless we're already talking about burgers and pizza and steak, then I can jump off and go into something like that right away. Then Mexican food or breakfast food. But Whitworth's birthday, and you get no touchdowns, but they at least get the Rams win. So like this photo is too blurry for my standard. Like I don't that one. This one good. This one good. This one nah. That one goes in the reject pile. I only fire photos exist here. Boom. There we go. Little street taco jump off for you. Barbecue. Yup. 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 Let me see what I can get you for KC barbecue. I do love barbecue a lot. It's one of my favorite things, but I've never had KC barbecue. You know, maybe one day if I ever get my money right and I'll be able to visit the Midwest and the East Coast and the South. I mean, I love food and I love Flavortown. I mean, I would literally road trip not to go to concerts or games, but to go eat at the best places in America. You know, that would be a cool, like, you know, if I was able to like vlog it and, you know, use it on the channel, you know, to be able to show like where the best food is. You can always talk sports and talk, you know, music and life while you eat, you know, and, but just to be able to showcase amazing platters like this. And the crazy thing is that if I ended up visiting the Midwest or the East Coast and the South in certain places, like going to Nolans and going to KC barbecue or having some fresh lobster and crab from the East Coast, not the West Coast, I don't know if I would be able to leave. It would be very hard for me to leave because, again, you know, for a lot of us, not just men and the dudes, you know, a lot of us are simple. You know, there's not a whole lot that people need to be happy. But again, you know, great food and being able to go to Flavortown is a must for any man or woman on planet Earth. You know, yeah, if you got the good food, you know, that makes any shitty situation better and it makes a good situation amazing. Tell me I'm wrong. Flavortown. Schedule your next trip there. You know what I'm saying? Like, and food I like is like sports because it brings people together. Like, there's not one person on planet Earth that's like, I hate food. You know, they always have something, even if they're addicted to mac and cheese and that's all they eat. Like I saw one guy, he's only ate mac and cheese his whole life and that's all he eats, right? Everyone's got at least one thing of go-to, but I like culture and I like people and I like learning the backstory. So then when I hear, oh, this is the best KC barbecue, why? Has it been in the same recipe since 1903? Has it been passed down from generation to generation with the same recipe? Like, I like to be able to watch those food programs, and not only does the food look appealing, but also the people and the story, you know, that makes it like complete the circle. You know, it's like you get the backstory and then you get to see the food, eat the food, look at the pictures of the food. Flavortown, you feel me? I still think that you do, and I do too. You know, for me to be able to, you know, do this, you know, other than sports, you know, obviously I love sports and I love wrestling and everything. But if I, you know, had another thing, you know, besides doing like video game streaming, which would be very easy for me, you know, like beat making is fun and things of that nature. But I think like, you know, this part of it, video games or, you know, the food part, I think I even would do the food part even ahead of the video games. I mean, I love video games, but I love food even more. We can be Guy Fieri's and get wigs and we can look just like him. God damn, I got to go to KC now too. And you can get all of that for like a reasonable price. Like, it's not going to be an arm and a leg. I mean, actually now, obviously with the economy, it's not very good. and whatnot. And things cost a hell of a lot more. And if you're going to go eat something like this, you don't get it fucking DoorDash or Uber Eats unless you want to, pay double. But again, if you end up having a spot that you can go to, give me that. I mean, something good has to come out of this stream, right? Something. I mean, we didn't get any touchdowns. A couple people ended up losing in fantasy already. I mean, it's only been one game, and I don't know how. I mean, the only way that Shep is going to be able to make it interesting is if Zini's players shit the bed, and I don't know what the chances of that happening are. Not very good. Speaking of Joes, and we ain't talking G.I. Joes. Joe's in Kansas City. This is Joe's right here. This next one is Virginia. They look like they know what they're doing over there too. I mean, I just like to be able to see different people, have passion for whatever it is. And then you get to see some amazing things. Let me see this next photo. Not this one. I got to load it right now. And obviously there's going to be different styles, different flavors. So it's not just, it's like a hamburger. You're not going to just eat one and all of them are going to be the same. There's so many variations, right? But this right here, I mean, they're not fucking around in the VA over here in Virginia. Okay. This is what we do, they say. Z-Man. The Z-Man sandwich at Joe's. Oh, yeah, this looks good. Is this the one with the mushroom in it? This looks fire. I love being able to switch things up. Oh, shit looks good. Cheese and an onion ring on a barbecue sandwich. Oh, man, it looks good. That's not, that's a different one. That one looks good. And I guess you can get it like this too with this type of bread also. I've been getting more like square bread, like croissant bread, square bread for like sandwiches. And bro, if you've never had like the square bread before, like the high end square bread, it's better than like hamburger buns. Like it's ridiculous. It makes every meal like that much better if you have like a bakery that has like that croissant style square bread, but it's like the top end, top shelf square bread. It's amazing. It's like literally changed my life. It's like almost all I eat now. It's like if I have other options of, sub sandwich options and whatnot, and that type of bread, I'm like, no. I'm like, we gotta go with the square bread. It's insane. Yeah, I was thinking of a different one. I just thought, like, looking at that picture at first, I didn't know if that was cheese or if that was like the mushroom one, because a lot of times when you have like a mushroom Swiss, type of burger. It kind of looks like that. I mean, obviously it's a far away picture. It's not like up close and whatnot, but that's just the cheese melting. Looking good. Yeah, I need to go eat and go take Paisley on a walk. I got to stop looking at all this. This is definitely giving me ideas, but I definitely need to eat. But I love you guys, and I appreciate you guys. Thank you for all the people that liked, sub, donated, commented, shared. Final score 12-6, I guess. I mean, the first game with no touchdowns, but at least we got to look at some good food, have some good combos about aliens and football and shitty fantasy football years and underwhelming performances from players in fantasy. But, we got some college football right around the corner. So tomorrow will either be Spurs Blazers late with Wembanyama and Klingon coming back from his first game from injury. If I don't do the game on stream, then we're going to do Army Navy at noon on Saturday. It's really the only thing that's going on. Sunday will be Packers and Hawks, Sunday Night Football. And then Monday we'll do Vikings Bears. And then it goes into some college football bowl games. And then obviously the college football playoff. So we're going to be busy. I would like to try to stream tomorrow, but I don't know. NBA games are so shitty nowadays, so maybe we'll just take the day off and I'll be live on Saturday for Army Navy at noon. So check your socials, and I love you guys and I appreciate you. And I got one question for you. We don't talk sports like us. Your boy Ryan, Northwest Sports Fanatics. Shout out to Reflect Captain, Chief Will Chief Matt, Sarah, Captain, all of y'all. Love ya, appreciate ya, and I'm out. Gang.